Oh, damn it.
I've been playing through Silent Hills in the same way I did like all the Resident Evils, and it's been great, man. But the nurses from that were made iconic in Silent Hill 2 also exist in Silent Hill 1, but they don't have those weird swollen pussy faces that they do in Silent Hill 2. They just have they have back nasties. Like they have these giant weird throbbing humps on their back, and when you beat them to death with whether it's a claw hammer, a hatchet, a crowbar, maybe a couple shotgun blasts to the face, you just watch their back nasties throb. And throughout the entire stream last night, every time I killed one, I thought of you guys, and I missed you a little bit.
When you said swollen pussy faces, it just made me think Amy Schumer faces. Like, that's immediately where my head went.
I mean, she always does look like she's been stung by bees, and she always talks about her pussy. Yeah. So I can see how you can make that connection.
Those two things, exactly.
Yeah, ipso facto.
It's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but disgusting.
6 degrees of Amy Schumer's swollen pussy face.
600 degrees of Kevin Bacon. We just put the poor guy in the oven, and that's what he looks like when he comes out.
Oh, no. Some Hansel and Gretel shit.
I gotta say, though, man, like, I know I've been singing his praises in the Sinister Dicks chat, but holy shit, Silent Hill holds up well, boys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still tank controls, but it's way more fluid. The combat's way more generous than Resident Evil. It doesn't punish you for not being able to see what you're aiming at because of like fixed camera angles. And holy shit, the puzzles make me feel like I'm brilliant when I solve it. It's the dumbest stuff, but it's so like low key and environmental. You have to be like super hyper aware of your surroundings. And the attention to detail, man, like in a game this old is incredible. Every area that I explore that's off the beaten path rewards me in some unique way with more ammo or, a key that unlocks a building where there's an ammo storage halfway across the town. It's just a brilliantly designed game. If you guys haven't played it.
Isn't Silent Hill, speaking of puzzles, isn't there actually two difficulties for Silent Hill games? Like there's the like combat difficulty and then puzzle difficulty, and you select one for each?
I think they implemented that in 2 because I'm playing 1 right now, and it just gave me an overall difficulty to select. But I do like that as well. Yeah, I can't wait. I haven't played 2 since I was like 12 years old.
I never played through them, and I always wanted to. It's Kojima. I love Kojima. I love like weird fucking J horror, but it's like
that was Kojima.
Yeah, big time.
I actually didn't know that.
I think so. Let me double check that. I'm gonna feel dumb if not.
Big time. Slap at the base. Big time. No, I love you, man. Come on.
I thought Kojima had only.
It holds up.
I thought Kojima had only done PT. That was my. Maybe one of us is a waterhead. Probably me.
That's my secret, Cap.
No, it's not Kojima. You're right. I was totally wrong. He was supposed to make one with PT, and then that's when him and Konami separated. Yeah. Okay,
but they've been teasing that there's a great conjunction coming. We might actually get a Kojima horror game after all, which I think his style of over-the-top storytelling would lend itself so well to the horror genre.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally never really got to get my hands on PT, but watching playthroughs,
it's horrifying.
Like you can imagine that demo changed the face of survival horror. Like, it gave us like half of the indie games that are out now are because of PT. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, like, did we ever come to a conclusion on Visage/Visage?
I'm just gonna say Visage because I feel like being a cunty today. It's early. It's a Sunday.
Sounds French. Makes you sound smart.
Yeah. People who say Visage are the same people that say scenario. You know what I mean? You know who you are. I was smirking during that conversation, and I have a story to tell about Silent Hill 2, actually, but you said conjunction, and I immediately thought of Schoolhouse Rock, and then my brain, in its magnificent inner workings, started making a song.
Wait, was it Come Junction Junction?
Actually, no. It was Conjunction Junction, What's Your Function? And then I was incorporating Amy Schumer and your swollen puss face. I was just rapping it back.
Okay. Right.
So I actually have great memories of Silent Hill 2. I think 2 is one of the only Silent Hills I played. I didn't play a lot of the others. But, and this is the second time I've mentioned Bob in the past handful of podcasts. But my brother-in-law Bob and I,
thank you, Bob.
Here goes Bob.
Like, thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. He was
not
living
dead.
with,
I kiss my fingers.
He was. That's weird.
Yeah, what are you, fucking A-Rod? Are you a baseball player? Just hit a grand slam?
That's what you do when one of the bullies has passed on. You kiss to heaven. But Bob's still with us. So,
I was like,
that's what I said. I don't know why I did that. He's still alive.
What if you somehow knew and I didn't, and you told me like,
no.
I have to make sure I get the video version of this out. I've been slept, by the way.
That's what Bob gets for telling you about the time he bummed your sister.
Yeah.
You hear that, Bob? You're canonically dead on the podcast now,
I was
bro.
gonna say, you hear that, Bob? You're dead, Bob. Legitimate. I love you, Bob, very much. Also, I'll have to make sure I get the video version up quickly for this week. And I apologize to the viewers. I have been slacking real hard because life's been a little busier than usual. I think like the last 2 or 3 I haven't put up.
Don't you dare
YouTube.
apologize to them and for all your hard work.
I gotta put on my big boy britches and really batten down the hatches. You know what it is? Anytime we have a problem in our recording and it cuts in the middle, I'm like, I don't want to fucking mix that episode because the video versions of the ones that have an issue in the middle are so fucking tedious. Anyway, I have a story, ADD storytelling. So, Bob had Silent Hill 2, and him and I were playing it together. And when I say together, I mean like he would play for like an hour, and then he would give me we were just passing it back and forth. But we were together in the same room at his house, and we were playing at night. The next morning, we both wanted to play so bad that we got comforters and hung them up over the windows in the living room so it would be fucking dark and scary.
Sick.
And he had the surround sound system. And I remember when the radio, when things come around, and it was fucking terrifying. But we were like together and we were having a blast with it. And it's one of my favorite video game memories of like putting stuff over the windows so we could play Silent Hill 2 in the fucking dark and be scared.
Did you mention that in your eulogy to Bob? Was that... Or did you etch it on his tombstone? I had a really good time playing Silent Hill with you that one time.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I guess I just got to go right into it. Welcome. Oh, no. Oh, no.
No.
By the way.
No. Go ahead.
Last episode, I said welcome 3 times, and then Scott said, "Oh, he only said it twice," and then I did it again. I just believed.
I think one of your welcomes got cut out when we were having mic issues. So I only heard 2.
Oh, fair. Here. So. Welcome to the TCN, the Corona Nerd podcast. This is Reads, Readers, and Reviews.
You got a cooler full of beer right there, don't you?
Yeah,
you're getting day drunk.
Reads, Ronas, and Reviews. Thank you for the sponsor this week, boys. Welcome to the podcast. This is episode 35. 35. I know every time we have another episode, I'm like astonished that the number's still going up. It's an accomplishment. We're getting up
You
there.
were like that even. You're like, episode 4. Damn, that's 4 of them. That's one more than 3, right, gang?
We're doing this, guys. Yeah.
People haven't canceled us yet.
I feel like if enough people listened, we would have been canceled 20 episodes ago.
It's almost like we have to hope we don't take off because then it'll happen.
No, we just got to get to that Bill Burr level of success where by the time we have an active fan base that gives a fuck, we have such a large back catalog and when people get mad about something, we just be like, oh, shut the fuck up. There's like 400 other episodes where we don't say that. Shut up.
Yeah, I was on Conan. I mean, what have you done lately, asshole?
Oh, Conan's retiring.
Oh yeah, he did.
His last episode happened. Yeah.
Whoops.
I just watched his goodbye speech the other night on YouTube, and it was very nice. He didn't cry. I always selfishly want them to get emotional and cry. I'm like, come on, bitch! I've been waiting for you. You've been on the air for how long? Shed some tears, you giant ginger. Anyway, Conan's fucking hilarious.
He is,
and he deserves his retirement. And he had a good run. It was always weird to me that Conan went to TBS. He actually mentioned it in his sign-off speech. He was like, we went to TBS because the guy that approached me to do the show was fantastic, and he promised me that TBS would always let me do whatever we wanted, and he never broke his promise. We were always allowed to do every bit of content we thought we wanted to put out. He never told me it was too far. I was like, okay, good for you.
Something that I was like, not to get not to hyperfixate on something that's not at all in this document whatsoever, but something I was watching. It was like Tom Segura and Joe Rogan and someone else, and they were all talking about basically like being a daily show host of any of them, Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, whatever. And as much as like most of them suck, there's something super, super like respectable about coming up with new content every fucking day. Like most comedians literally perfect their yearly tour stand-up like throughout that year of touring. And it's like, it's almost like when they're starting off, it's not done yet. So they usually film their specials towards the end of it, because then they kind of get into the groove. They know what audiences like and what audiences don't like. And like to have a whole new set of jokes every night of the week is just like, I don't know. It's just crazy to me.
Really I mean, obviously they have a writer's room, but it doesn't diminish the fact that like it's consistently funny every fucking day. You know, it's tough.
Well, the thing is, like, Conan was a well-known and well-respected writer on SNL. So, I mean, he cut his teeth on SNL back when it was fucking funny still. Yeah. And then you have no doubt that somebody of that caliber, somebody who's that quick, and you see him, like, there's no way that the interviews are staged. He's just a quick, funny, charismatic guy. So you know that when he goes in the writer's room, it's not something where everyone rolls their fucking eyes like, oh, here come the suits. It's like, great. We have another collaborator here who gives a fuck, who's going to help us put this show up a tier, like make sure we're hitting those marks every night.
He also makes a cameo in Death Stranding, which both of you would know if you played enough of it to get that far.
Conan O'Brien.
O'Brien is in Death Stranding.
Oh wait, he's one of the stations you visit.
Yeah.
I've seen him.
And it's his mocap and his voice and everything. Yeah, it's excellent. Funny. And he has like I think a beaver hat on, like it's just like the top half of a beaver is like he's wearing as a hat. It's just really weird. That. Yeah, big time.
What?
Yeah. So 100%.
I could have sworn that I thought he was like somewhere in like the second area or the third area of the game, like the third area of the. It doesn't matter. We all know Conan O'Brien's legacy will be entertaining millions for decades, and also highlighting what an absolute selfish piece of shit Jay Leno is. And Jay Leno's legacy will be forever being a selfish piece of shit with a whiny, annoying voice, and nobody cares about your fucking car collection. Why don't you give somebody to charity, you cunt? That's all I got.
Very nice.
Welcome.
Yeah, rest in peace, Conan O'Brien, now also canonically dead on the Cynical
Yeah, we'll miss you, Conan and Bob.
Yeah.
just Conan and Bob.
Oh my God.
Oh, sorry guys, you can't see this, but holy shit, that really is Conan in all right, cool.
Can we make this episode image a tombstone with Bob's name on it?
Oh my God, fucking sorry. Yes.
Just two tombstones with Bob and Conan right next to one another.
Yeah, together forever.
Also, okay, well that's definitely the answer.
It's gotta be it, right?
Oh man, Coco and Bob. It's gonna be Coco and Bob.
Yeah. That sounds like a Pixar original movie, doesn't it? Yeah. Coming right to Disney Plus.
It's a sequel to Coco.
Holy shit!
We're not doing that lazy Coco 2 stuff. It's Coco and Bob. Mm-hmm. And also just to bring it back to our sponsor this week. Okay. You better believe there's a bag of ice in this fucking cooler too. I went all out.
Oh, very nice.
Have you put any lime in it yet?
No, I thought about that, and then I thought, people who like sit there and cut up limes are the same people who say scenario.
No. Corona's better. And most lagers are better with lime. I've done my research, Chris. Okay.
I've done the research. That was a litany of references. I loved it. Let's start digging in. So, episode 35, boys. The podcast is now officially older than all three of us.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Well, cool. for a day, because I turn 35 tomorrow.
Oh, holy shit!
Holy shit! I didn't know that, and now I feel like a jerk off.
Why?
Happy early birthday!
Happy early
birthday!
This is your birthday
episode. What do you want to do? You want to kill some more people canonically?
I mean, we talked about back nasty, so that's a big check mark, right? Yeah. We got that one on the way.
How about you decide by the end of the episode one more canonical death on the show?
Okay,
just think about it, really ruminate, and
so to celebrate my life, I get to murder somebody canonically.
Canonically, every year of your life that goes up, someone else have to go. Okay.
So it's like Highlander, but I'm just knocking out like well-known furries and weebs and cosplayers and ethos, right?
It's whoever you want. We're not. There's no limits here on who.
No, we just blink them out of existence as if like they never existed in the first place, or is it like a horrific? Like are we talking like a Kobe helicopter crash?
Oh my god! I think that's up to you, though. I think it can be as painless or as just horrible as you want it to be.
And we say by the end of the episode, but we all know you're going to think about it when Derek takes a pee-pee break.
Exactly.
So that's
yeah. Okay.
All right. So boys and girls, we have actually kind of a light docket. We have more weekend reviews than anything else. Our main topics this week are Loki, episode 3, and Luca, which we pushed from last week because we didn't have a lot of time when we had so many main topics last week. So we have a few trailers, a few horror trailers, actually. 2 horror trailers? Yeah. The new Shang, is Shang or Shung? I think I did this before. I keep hearing people say Shang-Chi.
I'm going with Shang-Chi because there's an A there.
I keep hearing people say Shung.
I can confirm.
Like, I heard Kevin Feige say Shung, and I just heard some dude who reviewed the trailer say Shung. So I'm going to go Shung. I'm going to go firmly Camp Shung. And,
I mean, Kevin Feige's already rewriting the entire like now, the Mandarin is Shang-Chi's father. So right. I'm sure canonically in the MCU, an A can have a U sound, right?
I like how they're respectful enough to the like material to go, hey, we need to cast people of Asian descent in these roles. We need to be like respectful. But then they're like, yeah, but no one cared that much about Shang-Chi's comic book, like, so we're just gonna do whatever we want with this background story. Because like no one's gonna give a shit, right? You guys even read this? No, we know you don't. Speaking of Marvel shill shirt going on today.
That shirt hurts my feelings. I just it just makes me cry. I don't like it at all.
Well, it does secretly call you names when we're not talking. I just hear him mutter shit.
Ooh.
Something about eyebrow posting. I don't know. It's crazy. We have lots of weekend review stuff to go over, though.
Show Cosby over here. Am I right?
We talked about this show a couple of months ago, probably at this point. My sense of time is horribly wrong. Taika Waititi's pirate comedy that's coming out next year that we were all very excited about. It's going to be called Our Flag Means Death, and they've added a couple new cast members, most of which I'm excited for, and the only ones that I'm not excited for are people who I have no idea who they are. So first off, they're adding Christian Nairn. I don't know how you pronounce it. If you're saying, who the fuck is that, Chris? Then the answer is Hodor from Game of Thrones. And I know you guys all know who Hodor is. All the memes. There were so many memes.
Can I bring somebody back for my birthday?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were going to bring back Hodor. I thought you were going to bring like a fictional character.
I just
who
like
never really lived to begin with.
I just like that you asked, and then that was it. Like you didn't. Yeah. Like we're like.
let's keep going. The fact that the show isn't called What We Do in the Gallows is a missed opportunity to me, and I'm mad about it.
Let's talk about it. I mean, really, I get what you're going for, and we should always call it What We Do in the Gallows, but a rip-off of another show that they did.
Last week they blatantly did a rip-off of a show they've already did, right? They announced that fucking paranormal investigator.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a spin-off, not a rip-off.
Well, I mean, all right, if that's fair. But what has me excited about the show is that it's not going to be like a mockumentary, right? Because they didn't have cameras back during it's going to be like an actual show about pirates. I think
problem with some kind of bullshit cameras.
I hope my problem with the one last week I think was that it's like, oh, another mockumentary. Great, we're doing this. I'm sorry, you had more casting news.
I did. His character is, and if you don't know, if you haven't seen Hodor, if you've lived under a rock for all these years, he's a larger fellow. He's going to play a character.
He's a big old
probably
hunker.
Does.
No, they showed it.
You see that big old dick on game.
George R. R. Martin was just on set salivating during that episode when they shot it.
Yeah.
Wait, they show it to you?
You probably don't remember because it was so huge that it just like erased itself from your memory. You were just so amazed you blacked out for a couple seconds.
Yeah, it honestly looked like his hand was hanging in front of his groin.
Yeah. And he's like, he's like 7 feet tall. So even like what you're seeing on the camera, like there's some scaling down happening. It's even bigger than that. It's just a big old arm just flopping around.
Oh, it was prosthetic.
Yeah. It could high five you. What?
It's like a baby, so I'm holding an apple.
Wait, it was a prosthetic?
Yeah.
Oh, you just looked that up that quick? I
did. I did it. And
I hate the internet because it ruins movie magic for me. Yeah. Right now, I don't know what kind of dinker.
What if he has a baby dick? Wouldn't that be crazy to be that gigantic and he has a micro penis?
I feel like the guy who played the mountain has to have a tiny dick because his girlfriend's the size of like a Pokemon and he's like fucking 8 feet tall. You know what I mean? Have you seen pictures of them together? Like, there's no way
Yeah.
If his dick fit his body, there's no way that she would not be in a wheelchair.
She like literally comes up to the bottom of his ribs. It's like it's absurd.
That's the only couple. It's the only like famous couple that I've seen together and been like, I would pay to watch porn with you guys.
if his dick was to scale and she sat on it, could you imagine how like it would be like watching that scene from Alien where the fucking the chest bursts open, like the fucking what do you call it? The xenomorph bursts out of the guy's chest during dinner. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, Hodor's penis is fake, and now that's in my search history. So he's going to be playing a character named Wee John Feeney. No pun intended.
Wee John. Okay.
Yeah.
One of those ironic nicknames, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
I've heard of that.
Like Little John, basically. Plus Nathan Fode, I don't know who he is, as Lucius Samson Ko. Don't know who that person is. Could be a male or female. Rory Kinnear, who I have seen, playing two characters, Captain Nigel Badminton and Chauncey Badminton, and I love the name Chauncey Badminton. Con O'Neill from Chernobyl, who I watched the show. I can't place that person's face, and Vico Ortiz from American Horror Story 1984 as Bonifacia. Sure,
sounds right.
Yep, sounds accurate.
Yeah, Nathan Fode doesn't even have a fucking picture on IMDb, so good fucking luck.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the show's created by David Jenkins and is loosely based upon the true adventures, but loosely based, of Steady Bonnet, which we talked about, I think, when we first talked about the show. Mm-hmm. It's a wealthy landowner who gave up fancy living in 1717 to hit the high seas as a pirate. So it's going to be probably really fucking funny. And I'm looking forward to it. Waititi himself is going to play Blackbeard.
Yep.
We also talked about that last time. I'm just stoked about it. It looks like it's they have a release month set right now for February 2022, so we don't even have to wait that long.
Yeah.
And I'm stoked. I don't have anything else to say. I'm excited.
Me too. When is What We Do in the Shadows supposed to air? Do we know that? That's got to be soon, right? Oh, September.
It's fall.
Okay.
Yeah. What We Do in the Gallows.
Hell yeah.
Season 3.
Hell
September
yeah.
2nd.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. It's right before Labor Day. Hell yeah. All right. Now was that extra funny just because I snuck it in right at the end?
Yeah. It was like a period at the end of your sentence.
But also, like, for some reason, like, you have the most convincing stoner
it's
bra.
So good, I know.
Yeah. No one in my life, I didn't smoke the marijuanas.
See, that's why it's so funny when you nail that. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Now it's my favorite thing to just sneak it in. I'm just going to try to surprise you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't smoke until very late in life. I was probably like 20 or 21.
Mm-hmm.
And most of my friends were getting stoned in high school. And I remember having a conversation with my mother where she did not believe me that I did not smoke pot. We were driving home and she was like telling me about, I was like 16 or something, 16 and a half. She was telling me about her experiences and she was like, I didn't like it that much. It made me kind of paranoid. She's like, but you know, she was clearly trying to like, just go, you can tell me about it.
It's okay,
I'm cool.
honey. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, Mom, I don't smoke. I've never smoked. And she was like, it's okay if you, and I was like, I had to push for this. I was like, I really, like, I'm not fucking kidding. I haven't smoked pot. Like, don't worry about it. Cool story, huh?
Yeah. But you were like, but I do black tar heroin and I inject it right into my dick.
I was
Mom. I hope that's cool
heroin.
too.
Shaka bra. Hell
All right. Next up, we have to talk about Halo. Hell yeah. Showrunners to leave after season 1.
Yeah.
Hell nah. Hell no, didn't feel good. I'm not.
It doesn't fit. Doesn't fit.
Nah. You can try like a nah, brah. Nah, brah.
Nah, brah. Who even knew that Halo had a TV show?
I had no idea.
This thing has been, they've been trying to get this off the ground since 2013. At one point,
which is why I assumed it just didn't, like, I figured it just got dropped because it literally, we're talking about it since the last time Halo was halfway decent. And I haven't heard about it in years, so I just figured it never took off.
I mean, it's weird to me that they're trying to make a show about a game that doesn't really have a story, right? Like, I mean, it has ideas, but there's never been a narrative that like grips you. Well, I'll say with the exception of 2. The way 2 cliffhangered.
2 was pretty good.
And the start of 3 had me going a little bit. But it's, you know, I mean, like, what story are you going to tell? You're going to tell like the origin story of Master Chief? Like, you're going to try to like give him a personality in his origin story where he then subsequently doesn't have one for the next 5 installments of your fucking game. Why, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate the idea of there being a Halo show for the reason that there was a lot of story points in 2 and 3 that weren't connected so well. And so a piece of me is like, well, maybe they could, do it in an interesting way if it had the proper funding. But I can't imagine like a television show for something this high concept sci-fi will ever have a high enough budget, especially because it's on Paramount Plus. So that's also another kind of ding against it. Also, just the fact that apparently the showrunners left or something, right? And now it's like they don't even know if there's going to be a season 2. It's like, all right, so I already had a very minimal amount of hope for this thing that I just knew existed earlier today.
Right.
And now it's just gone immediately. So it's just a very sort of volatile 15 minutes.
Yeah, there were two. Scott. There were 2 showrunners attached: Kyle Killen and Stephen Kane. Killen left production left the product before production officially began, as he was basically unable to do his job. He couldn't do full-time showrunner duties, and they were shooting in Budapest. They were just had to live there for the whole time. So that was probably like a deal breaker. Kane is finishing the first season, but is reportedly returning to the United States after they're done because he doesn't want to be in Budapest anymore.
Yeah.
So
it's my understanding that they finally got this greenlit right before COVID hit. So they've just been in Budapest trying to do little bits and pieces as they can or as they could throughout the entire pandemic. So like, it's not surprising that after that experience, being in a foreign place, having all these restrictions and trying to get this product out, which like, again, like it's got to be a complete mess, COVID aside, right? Because it's been in development hell for 6.5, 7 years prior to COVID.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't blame. I don't think this guy walking away after having the experience he's had over the last 2 years trying to get this fucking thing done is in any way an indicator of how good or bad the final project is going to be. I think the indicator should be how piss poor the narrative is told in 90% of the games. It's hard to believe that they're going to somehow pull. From what I heard, the books are great, right? But what are the odds? What are the odds we're going to get something of that caliber, in a 45-minute format? Where like in a season they're going to tell a story that's going to have any kind of impact. That's not. It's just going to be. It's going to be one of those seasons where they're going to try to end it on a cliffhanger in hopes that they can tell a bigger story, like a more grand scope over the course of multiple seasons. It's that setting up the world, not telling an interesting story in the first installment kind of thing. But
I will say, like, on the topic of the books, like I read a couple of them in the beginning. For anyone, I don't know where they are now. Like this, I'm literally talking about 13 years ago, probably 10 years ago was the last time I read one. But you wouldn't think that a book written about a video game could really be that good. Like I look at like World of Warcraft books and like Gears of War books. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Some of the WoW novels are pretty good.
But anyway, that's the case with Halo. Like I would figure that they'd be really corny, but they had this one guy, I think his name is Eric Nyland, wrote a lot of them, and people always really liked his because he was ex-military. And so he would kind of use his knowledge of like current existing technology and just try to, propel it forward 500 years. But he always wrote things very like tactically. It almost felt like you were reading like, what's his name? Tom Clancy novel.
Yeah.
But just that took place in the future. They were really, really well done. But once they started like introducing the books and people really started getting into them, you were hoping that in the games that they would have that same level of depth and detail, and they just never did. Like, I think the aesthetic of the games has always really been good. Like ODST is like just walking around New Mombasa at nighttime with that beautiful piano music playing. It's so eerie and like you feel so isolated. Like those are things that they do really well. But I agree. I mean, story is not a strong point for really any of the games, and a show has to have a good story. So it's gonna bomb. I mean, we all know it's gonna bomb.
Yeah.
The guy playing Master Chief doesn't really matter, right? They could have just got a stuntman to play him. No offense to stuntmen everywhere, but like you're never taking your helmet off.
Yeah.
Pablo Schreiber? Yeah, Schreiber. So you might know his still kind of lesser known brother, Liev Schreiber, who played.
Yeah, he was in
who played.
He was in Phantoms with Ben Affleck, who was the bomb in Phantoms.
You would have bombed the Phantoms, yo.
Wait, Liev Schreiber is not lesser known. Hang on. Wait a second.
He was also in that.
I was kidding.
That fucking show.
Okay. Now I feel.
I was poo-pooing him.
Okay. What's that show where he's like the Fixer, and you're like, you're a badass now too? What is it? It's a Charlize Theron thing all over again. I love. His name is it Lieb? Is it Lieb Schreiber?
It's Leave with a V at the end.
Leave?
How many weeks in a row are you going to find a way to sneak a dig in at the old guard?
Wait, did I really? Was that?
Yeah, you did.
Well, no, that was more a dig on just like the whole Liam Neeson, Charlize Theron. It's just because you hit 45 years old doesn't mean you're automatically canonically a badass.
Wow, thank you for shitting on Liam Neeson. I am so tired of people praising him. I am so tired of it. He's just an old man.
I haven't heard anyone praise him recently, to be honest with you, because he's been doing just every action shitty movie that they throw his way.
He
every movie he's in is called like Train that my daughter is on, and I have to save her. All right, we get it, Liam.
Yeah. Oh man, no, but it's he was the bomb in Phantoms. He was in Scream, right? He played Cotton Weary. Yeah, that's all I got. And he's the Ray Donovan. Ray Donovan. That's the one I'm thinking of. It's like we get it. We get it. You drive a 1970s muscle car in 2021. We get it. Your dick's huge. Cool. Like
he was fucking Sabretooth in X-Men Origins Wolverine, bro. Come on.
That's why I was laughing, because I was like, I just like defended Liev Schreiber to Chris, and then
that's why I said lesser.
I'm like, think of all the movies that he's in. I'm like, all I can think of is fucking Sabretooth right now for some reason. That can't be the one that I mentioned.
He is a honey though, right? Like,
he's a honey. He's a hunk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, weirdly he Pablo, I've only seen one other place. He was in the American Gods TV show, and I watched that when it first started. He played
heard that show's great.
Mad Sweeney.
It's a good show.
The show's pretty solid.
That's his little brother? What?
Yeah, it's his little brother.
What?
They don't look very much alike at all.
He was great as Mad Sweeney.
I've done this before, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to sound pretentious, but I would 100% recommend you guys read American Gods, the book. It's really fucking good.
I'd rather watch the show, to be honest with you.
Neil Gaiman wrote the book, though, and he is an excellent writer.
I just know that like when I'm home for the night, I'm not reading. I'm not doing it.
The audio version and listen to it in the car. That's what I did actually.
I would do that. I would, but I'd rather just watch a show and just bang it out. You know what I mean? Compartment, like just let's just streamline it. You know what I mean?
You'd rather watch a show? Hell yeah.
Well, is this because for certain things I know there's gonna be like a deep rich lore, but there's already so many franchises that I'm emotionally invested in. I just don't care. I want to get the overarching narrative. I want to understand what's going on, but I don't really care about like 4 pages of them describing the scenery of the fucking pawn shop that they murdered somebody in or whatever the fuck's going on. It's the same reason I can't pick up a Chuck Palahniuk book anymore. You make me read an entire chapter about what kind of armoires are in a warehouse. Fuck you, Chuck. We get it. If I suck a dick, we stop talking about armoires. I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. Just relax. That's all I got.
All right, we're done talking about Halo, right?
We're
not. We got more stuff to talk about. Next article about Halo Infinite. The developers said it's about the battle passes. They said they don't want people to have to grind battle passes. They're going to be releasing battle passes on like a 3-month cycle. Mm-hmm. But they said that I actually like this. So I was talking shit on Halo Infinite, but the idea here is nice. They said, we look at other titles, the battle passes are time limited access, and you feel obligated to grind out all these hours to unlock everything in the pass that you paid for. That's not fun. It's not player first, which is true. And they said with them, you can purchase the season pass whenever you want, even after if they're in season 3, you can still get season 1 and 2, and you can unlock them as you want, no strings attached. You bought it, it's yours basically. And I gotta say, as much as I think this game is going to be fucking garbage, good job 343. Like that's a good mindset for content for people. At the same time, battle passes are usually timed because they coincide with seasons where they reset statistics so that so a couple people who've been playing since the beginning don't look like they're the fucking gods of the game. Kind of see who's actually the best, kind of evens it out every couple of months. So, yeah, I don't know. Any thoughts on this, guys?
I'm in a weird spot where like I'm the same as you. Like I don't hate it. Like I get the sort of basic philosophy of it is basically like, all right, you have people who are going to be on playing every single day and they're going to have everything, but not everybody has that time. So if you want, you can fast track and just throw a couple bones our way and, you know, you'll get those progression points or whatever. Now, of course, I hate like paid unlocks. And so that makes me think, all right, well, the only way to really avoid that in sort of like this modern day model is to just have it be what we talked about before, just that arena combat where everybody starts with the same shit. There's no like loadouts or guns that, you know, this gun or that gun that you start with that's better. But then it's kind of like, well, we already covered that. Like that ended because it had to end. People got tired of it, you know, like Quake and Halo and, you know, all those games. Like you have to move forward from it. Not that I don't prefer it over what exists now, but I can see why as an industry we move away from that. So I think that it is like a Band-Aid fix. And again, like my knee-jerk reaction is always, oh, you know, just pay to get the good shit. It is always to not like that. But the sort of reasoning that they put behind it, and here's the main thing, their honesty behind it is what I like. It's not like they had some bullshit like, for so, you know, like dancing around the point over. They just said, like, if you just want to buy it, you can buy it. Like, it's almost like, all right, you're not doing some dumb loot box thing where you don't know what you're going to get, like in Overwatch. Like, it's just like, hey, if you want the shit, you can just buy the shit. Boom. The base game is free. Whatever you didn't spend on that, if you want to spend on the progression, you can. So again, I'm in a weird spot, but ultimately, I think I don't hate it. And I'm still going to try this because, again, base multiplayer game, that is free. So why not? Why not just try it?
I mean, two things, right? The arena style is still out there, but it's evolved to be arena objective, right? Like Overwatch, the only point is to, you know, hold point A or push the payload, but it still is just on that you know, start with what you have and get into combat with more reliance on abilities and things like that. And I think with Overwatch 2, we might see a return to straight up arena mode from the hints we're getting from Blizzard right now. Something maybe not along the same lines as Halo, where you're picking up weapons in the environment, but something where it isn't so much about like a tier system, right? Mm-hmm. With this, this is the first thing I've been excited about Halo related in probably the last 10 years since I played Halo 3. I think this is admirable, man, because as somebody who plays a lot of Apex Legends, as somebody who's been playing a lot of other games that have battle passes, I don't feel right spending even $10 to unlock that battle pass unless I know that I've unlocked everything in that season already. You know what I mean? And it does get to a point where it feels kind of grindy. Like, I haven't been on Apex in a couple weeks, and when I get back on, like, how hard am I gonna have to grind to unlock everything that I paid for already? And the thing is, like, with games like Apex, you do have the ability to buy battle pass levels up to a certain point. But why, right? Like it kind of sucks if someone like goes out and works their 40 hours a week and comes home, and, you know, all these other people who are maybe unemployed because of the pandemic or are underage, don't have to work yet, or they're out of school for the summer, are just like destroying them. Granted, it's mostly cosmetics, right? It's not things that give you a one-up in combat at all. It's just things to customize the look of your character. A gun skin, you know, a skin for of armor, like of a custom look for your favorite hero, your favorite legend. It's stuff like that. So it's not stuff that where you're actively missing out, or you're not going to like lose the competitive edge because of it. But it does suck to see people who have more time than you getting all those things, and like, this is your favorite game. You know what I mean? And you just can't keep up. And so with this, what I got from this article is they're saying it's not. I didn't catch anything in the article about them allowing people to buy levels, but it just seems that once you buy it, it's yours forever. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's no time limit, right? So like, you can, at your own leisure, like you could still be working your way through season 1 while season 3's out, and it's fine because they want you to come and enjoy the game. And like, to me, that whether this game is good or bad, which I think it's probably going to be bad, like there's a certain air of confidence to that, right? Like them just saying like, yeah, have fun. You're gonna have fun. We want you to make sure you're having as much fun as possible. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you'll come back. If you don't finish it now, you'll come back and finish it because this game's gonna be fun. That's the kind of like, that's the feel I get from this article. And props to 343. Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. And again, we're talking about, like, this is not news about the campaign. This is just the multiplayer component of it, which is, again, going to be free. But now what's cool is they did say, I know initially they had said that they were going to release the multiplayer, and they didn't know which order it was going to happen in, but the multiplayer and the campaign like months apart, which is just like, what the fuck? And now they're talking.
Stupid.
I think something in this article said it was going to be they're going to be within a week of one another, I believe. So, like I said,
like they should just push it and release them both on the same fucking day.
Yeah, yeah. But it's again, I mean, like the multiplayer, it's going to be free. So I'm like, why wouldn't I just try it? And if I hate it, I can just uninstall it. I mean, I don't see the harm in it.
That's completely fair. I'll try it with you. Fuck it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But fuck it.
Yeah.
You'd fuck it? Hell yeah. God damn it.
Hell yeah. Ubisoft removes fan-made GoldenEye levels. So this article actually bums me the fuck out. It is not a hell yeah.
Does anyone want to guess what MGM can GMG stands for?
Gargle my
GMG?
gooch?
Gulp my goo, but close.
Gulp my gumdrop. That's what it really stands for. So let me fill you guys in. There's a YouTuber named Crawleywood. He took 3. So Far Cry 5 has a pretty robust level creator. You can make your own shit, upload it. People can download them and play them. To the point where
I love when Chris says
Crawleywood,
robust. I don't know why. It just like hits me in a certain way. Robust.
Is it like a hell yeah, or is it like?
It's like a joy. Like the way that you say robust is robust. It's very like full.
Okay.
Yeah. It's almost like you're whispering sweet nothings directly into my ear pussies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hope they're wet, going in dry. So the YouTuber,
you like that little Tenacious D reference there?
I did.
And we're here to come again in all of your ear pussies.
Very good.
So gross.
So,
oh god, can you imagine
having ear pussies?
No,
I can't. I literally don't know how
No.
just anatomically that would work. Does it go straight through? That's my first question.
It's like the portal from Stranger Things
here.
season 1, right? It's just
no, it's just like Portal from the game Portal. It goes in that and just right out the other side.
Well, I'm gonna say like
between.
So if someone fucked
Portal
your ear pussies, it would just be like, right?
Oh, like someone's wearing like an arrowhead.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish you could make R-rated thumbnails because that would be the winner.
just like a dick going right through someone's head.
Yeah, just it would be just a joy. So this YouTuber spent 3 years and around 1,400 hours to basically recreate every level of GoldenEye 007 from the N64 in Far Cry 5. I'm super fucking sad that I didn't know this existed before it was removed.
Yeah. Did you guys get to watch that gameplay video at all?
It's very good.
It was cool.
I had actually seen it earlier in the week. I was glad that you called it for the doc because I spent some time watching, and it looks fucking incredible.
It's so satisfying watching him nail those, like with those fluid Far Cry controls, just nailing those headshots.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! It was so good.
Makes me so sad I didn't actually get to play it.
Yeah, same.
He recreated every level in this game for free. Could have played it, not anymore. MGM put a copyright claim in, and Ubisoft had to remove the levels for download. So it just goes to show you, don't get attached to shit that's not fucking yours, because they will just rip it away from you, and you'll have spent 1,400 hours on something that now is dust. He couldn't back it up. Like, they just don't exist anymore.
No, he did. He said he has it on a flash drive.
He does?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a screenshot in the article that he said he has it on flash drive.
Oh, fuck, that's fucking great.
And so my suspicion is that he's going to, I think he's going to find some way to, But, like, I'm in a weird position with this because, one, I don't have, like, that crazy GoldenEye nostalgia. Like, the way Chris is with Zelda is how I am. Like, GoldenEye was fun. Like, I had it. I'm not.
Oh, I have that GoldenEye nostalgia.
But, like, I just don't. I have good memories with it, but I'm never, like. I think they remade it or something 10 years ago.
Tried.
Yeah, they tried.
They tried.
I never even cared. Like, I never even wanted to. But, that being said, like, this is what I hate a lot of IP laws. Like, I just don't get, like, what is this taking away and from whom? Like, I don't
he wasn't making money on it.
That's what I mean.
Like, that's usually the biggest argument, was that someone else is profiting on your IP. If they're fucking free. You couldn't make money.
The crazy thing is, like, Nintendo doesn't even have the OG GoldenEye 64 readily available to port on any of their modern consoles.
Yeah.
So all this is potentially hurting is the eBay sales, right?
Yeah.
Or the yard sale sales, thrift markets, retro game stores. But even then, is it? because some people like those janky old hold down the RB controls to aim. You know what I mean? MGM tried to do a remake of this game. They couldn't use Pierce Brosnan because he was no longer licensed as 007. So they used Daniel Craig and remade GoldenEye, which was in itself an abomination. If you can't get the rights to the original James Bond, you just make a digital version, right? You don't license out the current one that you're not gonna be able to use again in fucking 5 years. MGM is just it's a titan of the boomer cinema industry, right? Like it's just like they're a dinosaur. They're gonna. How many good properties does MGM really have left? Can you think of any besides GoldenEye?
No.
When you think of MGM, what do you think of? Because
the lion, just the lion. That's all.
Yeah, for the life of me, all I could think of is James Bond being like one of their big properties, and that's because this article says it is. That's the only thing. You know what I mean? Like they're dinosaurs, dude. And this is the same thing as like DMCA strikes, where like you have record executives, you have people in positions of power who don't understand that any publicity is good publicity. This existing could drum up nostalgia. It could actually increase the sales of their shitty 10-year-old remake. It could boost sales if they put a digital version on the Switch or on Steam. There's no such thing as bad press, especially when this guy's not making any money off it. Yeah. It's just fucking horseshit, man. It's the same thing with like Nintendo won't put their games on modern gen. They won't let you even rent them or buy them. And then when people emulate, entire sites get taken down. People get sued for millions of dollars. It's like, if you're not gonna be forward thinking with these properties that people have years and years of emotional attachment to, you can't penalize people for taking it into their own hands and trying to do something for the fan. Right. They're like making things readily available for people.
Well, that's what, and it's funny that you mentioned that, because I was literally just yesterday reading an article about Nintendo and how basically, like, when you look at when you go to like these thrift stores or like what do they call it? Like the selling old games, like retro game shops. That's what I'm looking for. And like this game, like Pokemon Yellow, or like even one of the ones that wasn't that huge, like Pokemon, I don't know, Emerald Green or something, like a GBA game. They're selling it for like $140. Yeah. And the reason is, like, Nintendo, they won't port these into modern day consoles, which are games people want to play, and they're very loud about how they want to play them. But then they also attack people for emulating them. So it's like your only choice if you want to play like your games that your company put this time into making is to spend $140 on a fucking 25-year-old game. No, I'm gonna emulate it. Like that's it's unrealistic to expect that from people. And I'll never understand, and this is what I mean when I say, like, I understand you should own the rights to your own intellectual property. Yeah. But it's like when people are your consumers are screaming out loud, like, we will give you money if you do this. Like, all you have to do is directly port this to something that I can actually play it on, and I'll give you my money. And you refuse to, well, then you have to find a new avenue to explore. I mean, what other choice do you have?
There's literally no excuse for why every Super Nintendo game in their entire library, every Game Boy game, every Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance game isn't on the Switch. Yeah. It is a handheld console that doubles as a home console. And we've talked last week about how there's so much emphasis on making it on-the-go gaming, even in big games like Breath of the Wild, compartmentalized dungeons in the form of shrines. There's no reason that I shouldn't be able to buy Earthbound for $10, $15. Like, you could charge $10 for a Super Nintendo game digitally. Oh, I'd buy it. And there's not one. Like, I would own all three of the Donkey Kong Countries. I would own everything from Rocky Rodent to Chuck Rock, all these shitty platformers from back when I was a kid that I just have fond memories of. You know what I mean? Like, and it's at the point now where, like, they're not super tight with their licensing to a certain extent, because you have companies like Limited Run, who just recently did a Zombies Ate My Neighbors re-release. It's only their platform specific, like Nintendo IPs, that they are really controlling of. It's just like it seems like it's just there's not a willingness to put the effort in, and it would be minimal effort, right?
Yeah, it would be 100% minimal.
I got to step away for a second, guys. Don't wait for me.
Yeah, you're good.
No, like, but there's a thing on Switch, right, where you pay like whatever it is a year, $20 or something, $30, and you get access to their SNES and their NES. Retro arcade. Each of these have like maybe 20 to 35 games on them. Yeah. It should be hundreds. It should be fucking hundreds, or give us the option to buy those, right? Like what's the point of me having this if if I can't you know what I mean? Like it's literally just a Game Boy. It's a fancy Game Boy.
It is.
I know I sound like a fucking boomer right now, but it's not wrong. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, you know, and I'm not going to reiterate everything I said last week, but you know, the fury I had about Breath of the Wild still exists because I bought that game 4 years ago on the Wii U, and I decided I'm going to give this game another crack. Maybe I didn't give it a fair shake the first time. Maybe I jumped off of it too quickly. You know, a lot of my friends do like it a lot. And I looked for ways to do that on my Switch, and there's no kind of like, oh, you own the previous gen version, pay slightly more for the Switch version. There's no, it's $60 still after 4 years in the shop, and it's like, come on, are you kidding me? Like, that just seems like such an insane barrier for entry for Nintendo, and they've always been like this. And I'm railing about the same thing I railed on. I'm having deja vu, but guess what, Nintendo? I've been emulating Breath of the Wild all week. Suck both my nuts. It runs great on my computer, by the way.
That 100% gave me deja vu, because I'm pretty sure you told them to suck both your nuts last week.
I mean, I'm a simple man, okay? Simple man with simple tastes.
But, yeah, well, Nintendo can taste both your nuts. Suck them dry. No, but it's just, you know, like there's...
Gross.
Yeah. It's just... It seems like common sense, man. It seems like Nintendo needs to get out of their own way, right? Because you can imagine, like, I mean, granted, like we talked last week about how the Wii U was Nintendo in its death throes and that the Switch saved them. But Nintendo still needs to get out of its own fucking way. Like, you have this like, you have a library of over 1,000 NES games out there, close to 1,000 SNES games, countless N64 games that could be ported, or, you know, I mean, there probably would be a little bit of effort goes in it, but you see them emulated flawlessly, effortlessly on modern PCs. You know what I mean? Why don't we have, like, even stinkers like Donkey Kong 64? Why don't we have that on the fucking Switch? I
just looked it up just because I was curious when you said. First of all, it's 1,700 SNES games, but the total size for all of them is less than 2 gigabytes.
Yeah.
So you could literally put every Super Nintendo game that was ever made on the Switch for 1.7 gigabytes.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we were discussing when you got up that they have a yearly thing, like you pay for, like their Nintendo, whatever the fuck it is, Nintendo
Direct
bullshit.
Or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And they give you, you know, 10 to 30 NES games and 10 to 30 SNES games. There's no reason it shouldn't be in the hundreds.
Yeah.
But except for just, you know, like, what I mean, I get why it wouldn't be in the hundreds. Maybe have it rotate like a Game Pass type thing. That'd be cool. Yeah. But the fan base has literally been screaming at Nintendo for the last 4 years. Give us Earthbound on the Switch. Give us Earthbound on the Switch. Give us this. Give us that. Give us these rare games that we don't want to spend $150 for a physical copy of. I had Earthbound on SNES, boys. I got that little strategy guide with the scratch and sniff stickers. I had it. I paid $120 for it back then. It would probably cost me close to $350 now.
Yeah.
I make that kind of money now, but also, like, could I live with myself if I spent that on Earthbound?
I mean, you should
scratch and sniff. No.
Look, could you maybe, but should you?
Yeah, like if I went on eBay and bought that right now, I have to put a gun on my mouth on my birthday, right? And that's just too ironic. You can't die on your birthday.
No.
No. But yeah, it's just Nintendo needs to get out of their own way. They could have so many other alternative revenue streams just through, you know, digital sales, man, and they just won't fucking do it.
Yeah.
But mostly fuck you, MGM, right? That's who pulled this, right? It wasn't Nintendo, or was it Nintendo?
No,
that was MGM.
We just got a little sidetracked.
Yeah. Gulp my goo, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Garbage my gumdrops.
Gargle that gooch. Sorry, gargle Magooch. Gotta keep that M in there.
Magooch.
Steve Magoochin.
Steve Magoochin.
Steve Magoochenberg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Gargle my glory hole?
No. Wait, no.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
That wraps up
you could gap my glory hole.
Gonzo my gonads.
Gonzo my okay, I like that. Anyway, that wraps up our weekend review, boys. We got some trailers to watch. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whole trailers to talk about. Some of them weird. Some of them clearly
glaze my giggle stick.
Oh, come on. That's a good one.
Choice.
Yeah, I can't.
Calm down, Weebs. It's an 18+ giggle stick.
Oh my God. And we promise it looks 18 plus, you fucking perverts.
Yeah, really.
So first trailer is a video game trailer. It is Aliens Fireteam Elite, the cooperative third-person survival shooter that drops your team of, I think, 4 Marines into a desperate fight to control the xenomorph threat. There are 20 different enemy types, 11 different xenomorphs along the evolutionary scale, from facehuggers to Praetorians. This comes out in PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, August 2021. It comes out pretty soon.
Oh, wow.
I kind of like the trailer.
That was the most surprising part of it. And an Alien game looks not great, but it looks like it might be good. It looks
might not be that bad. What I'm confused about is this an asymmetrical game? Like, are there going to be people controlling xenomorphs? It doesn't really make that clear. It looks like it's more of just
I feel like it's gonna be. It's gonna have that option. Like, you know, like Predator.
At least if it doesn't come out at first, it probably will have it eventually.
Well, I mean, have you guys seen Predator Hunting Ground at all? Where they did kind of like the Friday the 13th thing, but with the Predators. Yeah. I feel like this is going to be that we're just getting a teaser here, right? Like, first with Predator Hunting Ground, we got a cinematic trailer, and then we got a game, like a more specific gameplay trailer where it showed us playing from both sides. I think they're going to implement the alien mode, right? Like, where you're gonna play as a xenomorph hunting people down.
Honestly, even if I 100% think they will, if it's not there at launch, or that it is there at launch. But even if they don't, it feels like Left 4 Dead with
xenomorphs. Yeah, exactly.
I would still fucking play it.
That's the same feel that I got from it. I don't know if you guys played
third person, right?
Third person. Yeah. I don't know if you guys played like years ago. I don't remember the name of it, but there was a game that was like Marines versus aliens, and you could
Colonial Marines.
Was it Colonial Marines? And it was terrible when you played as the aliens. It was so disorienting because like obviously they can jump on ceilings and shit. And so whenever you do that, you just jump up and then your whole perspective would like shift because now you're upside down. No. And as you're crawling around like a cylindrical hallway, it's just shifting, and it was so fucking nauseating and impossible to play. So as long as they don't do that, if you can play as aliens, that would be pretty fucking tight.
I gotta shake this one up, guys. I think this looks fucking terrible.
Do you really?
I had a feeling you would, honestly.
Yeah. As like, I mean, like I love anything that's gonna push the you know, 1v4, 1v5, like, you know, horror scenario genre forward. It needs more innovation. It needs more. It needs a change of scenery, and this could be cool. But the problem is, it looks like it's going to be the Resident Evil 5 equivalent of those types of games, where it's an emphasis on action. Like Alien at its best was terrifying. It was.
That's like, a good point.
It was that you're like look at Alien Isolation, right? That is the best. That's one of the best survival horror games I've ever played. That is the best Alien game. That game is better than about 80% of the movies, with the exception of Alien and Aliens. And it's canonical. Why are we wasting resources and time on flavor of the week, which is what this is going to be? This will wear out its welcome very quickly, even if it is fun. How long could it possibly be fun for, right?
That is something I like the indication that I got from it was, all right, if you actually had like a class-based game like this, where like you had someone who was like a defense, like he put up barriers, and a dude who was like a demolitionist blowing shit up, and then one guy who, you know, whatever, like, I don't know, like that would be cool. But there was nothing in the trailer that kind of made it seem like it was anything more than you're all just people with big guns that shoot aliens.
They say customize your fire team, and then they show somebody with a flamethrower and somebody with a regular gun.
there could be,
you could do two things in this game.
There could be way more to it. I'm not gonna like completely shit on it. I mean, I literally just did, but I'm gonna wipe. I'm gonna flush. I'm not gonna keep shitting on it. I'll try to remain optimistic, but like, there's so many good, we talked about this week. Like, we have Ash versus, or the Evil Dead game coming out.
Yeah.
That looks incredible. We have Back for Blood. Like, it just feels like this is something that, had it been announced at E3, no one would be talking about it. You know what I mean?
No, probably not.
There's a reason they waited a week or two, and then we're like, oh, by the way, you know, because like, who would give a shit in comparison to like even the lackluster E3 we had? This is still like the dud to me out of all the trailers we watched.
And I was wondering, I do agree with you. Like, if it's a game that's $20-$30 and it's kind of not the most extensive thing, I wouldn't be mad. But I that was kind of the how I was going into it. Like, if it's full price, I'm not seeing anything in the trailer that justifies me spending $60 on it. But if it's just like $20 and like you and your buddies get together and you just blow shit up for a little bit, I wouldn't mind that. I'd be okay with it.
See, I'm thinking about it the same way that I think about the Predator Hunting Grounds game, because I bought that on sale.
I'm not familiar with that. I gotta look
for like $20, and I still have yet to play it. You know why? Because nobody fucking plays it. I was like, hey, $20. I got it for PS4. I was like, I'm not playing this with randoms. That's not gonna be fun. So I have it sitting here. I think it's still actually in its shrink wrap. I don't think I've even fucking opened it.
It got pretty terrible reviews.
I mean, it looks cool, and in theory, it should be cool. But the problem is, like, when you play a game of that caliber, you want to recreate those moments, those big iconic, like, you want to recreate fucking Arnold's covered in mud, holding up a flaming torch, but you're not going to get that experience. It's literally just going to be like you and a bunch of randoms who aren't fucking paying attention, getting themselves killed, and then you have to 1v1, but you're not meant to 1v1 because it's a 4v1. So by the time you get that iconic moment, you're fucking Dutch, bro. You're not fucking Dutch. You're fucking, what's his name? Doesn't matter.
It's Dutch. Yeah, it is.
Well, no, like, but you don't get to be Dutch. By the time you're 1v1ing, you're like so outgunned and underprepared because the assholes you were playing with did nothing to move the damage forward or move the objectives forward. I don't even know what the objectives are. And I've watched countless cinematic trailers and countless gameplay trailers for Predator. I think the objective is just not to die. Yeah. So that's why when I see this, I'm like, oh, reskinned Predator.
Yeah. I just have to say, when you did the Arnie scream, I had that on Mixer as like a soundbite on my soundboard. And people abused the fucking shit out of it. That scream is like literally 44 seconds long, and people would just keep doing it. As soon as it ended, they'd do another one, and I had to put a fucking like 5-minute cooldown on it because people just abused the shit out of it. You just gave me PTSD. I immediately started sweating as soon as you mentioned the Arnie scream. That was my favorite part about Predator until I started streaming, and now I fucking hate it.
Oh man,
Predator is currently on sale for $15
on Steam.
Epic.
Nope.
Stinky.
But
stinky
I know that Derek's a dirty boy. He's got Epic installed.
Yeah, that's a stink. To quote Chris, that's a stinky Vietnam, right? We're not going to the Epic store.
Oh, it's just 15 flat on Steam. Steam's actually cheaper.
Okay. Oh,
it's actually got mostly positive reviews.
I would give it a shot with you fellas. I don't know if it's cross-plat or not. I would
cross-plat.
I would legit play it, like if I don't, especially if I don't have to fight again. If I could cross-play this fucking game with you guys.
It does say cross-platform multiplayer on here.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
I'll fucking do it. I'll do it.
I haven't bought
times.
anything on Summer Sale yet. I don't know why. I know why, because I took all that time off when my son was born and I don't have any money. That's exactly why.
Oh, baby boy.
Wait, I got reminded why.
Baby boy, you got a wish list?
I don't. I had one thing on there and you bought
Scott's
it for
told me like 3 times to update my wish list.
Yes. I was planning on gifting the bullies a couple little like nothing crazy, but like
I don't even know if anything good has been on this Summer Sale. Like I haven't
there's a bunch of cool stuff.
All right, I'll look after we're done. I'll see if
guess what?
Lunch lady is like $3.
Adding Hunting Grounds to my wish list. Boom. Adding Lunch Lady to my wish list. I'm doing it live on the pod. I don't give a shit. You guys are gonna fucking wait for me.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm kidding. I'm done already. I'm already done. Okay. So we have another trailer to talk about. This one, I don't.
Do you boys have Devour? No, you don't.
I don't even know what Devour
I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Scott's the king of like knowing about all these like kind of niche like group horror games, and he'll be like, "Let's play Pacify." I'm like, "What the fuck is?"
It's always like a slightly scary word. You could make it up. Just be like, "You guys ever play Infringe?" Like something that's just sort of like, "Oh, I'm not sure about that one."
You guys ever play DMV? That was a bad joke. I'm sorry. Next up, we have a trailer about the Earth. I wish Will Smith introduced. No. I wish Will Smith.
No.
Will Smith introduced the trailer and said, "Welcome to Earth," and then punched the screen. Boom! 90s reference. It's called Gaia, which means Earth. It looks like it's supposed to be a horror movie where I don't know. The Earth is mad at us. I don't know what the fuck's going on in this trailer. Scott, I assume you put the trailer in here because it says, "How is this not copyright infringement?"
Yeah.
What are you referring to? What is this ripping off of? Because it's not immediately clear to me.
Visually, The Last of Us, right? They look.
Because of
it looks like a clicker, right? Like it has like the split head and the blossoming. Like it looks to me like
I gotta
someone
rewatch it. I didn't see that at all.
And there's a dude that's got mushrooms growing out of his back. I got you. The fungus among us.
Yeah. It just, I mean, like visually, obviously it's not the same thing, right? But it's supposed to be like somewhere in from the trailer I got that it was supposed to take place in South America somewhere, and that there's this cryptid type thing, like right, like this elusive mythological creature that actually exists. I think cryptid is the right word for that, like how people say Bigfoot and like the chupacabra cryptids.
Yeah.
This thing's like, but it's so old that it's like it's a demigod that's just existed forever, and people worship it, like locals worship it. But it also infects and spreads. We don't know to what extent. We don't know what kind, like whether it assimilates and then control. Like we mostly just see this thing and we see people like afflicted with some kind of disease in this. But the whole thing reminded me very much of The Last of Us in a way where like I kind of want to figure out a way to buy this movie on a platform so we can all watch it for next week. It looks like it's gonna be bad, but do some things really like some things really well.
I don't think it's going to be bad. I thought it looked really cool. I thought it looked interesting.
Sure it's going to be bad.
And I like a good, when it's properly done, man versus nature type thing, which it seems like that's the theme here. I don't know. I thought it looked cool. Cinematography was good. Creepy music, creepy atmosphere. I did not get a Last of Us vibe whatsoever from this. I was wondering what the copyright infringement thing was. But no, I don't know. I think it looks kind of cool.
Bro, I'll watch that shit tonight. I'll put that shit on. I'll be like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't like that one. Yeah, so anyway, sorry.
Put a little cum on the end of it.
Hey, just on the end, just a tip. So the sort of elevator pitch for this movie, the what is the fucking summary? That's what I couldn't think of. My brain could not.
We have to start doing that before we all start talking about it, because then we just start talking about something that we haven't even like introduced the concept of.
Yeah, we're really bad at it. We're really bad at it.
I'm sorry.
Welcome to the Cynical Nerd, where you're here for the come and fart jokes and no actual news. So the summary for this film is: on a surveillance mission in a primordial forest. I didn't even say South America, just a primordial forest. A park ranger in the primordial forest? What? All right, sorry. I shouldn't be picking apart the summary. A park ranger encounters two survivalists following it. Doesn't primordial mean that there's like nothing there and it's like in the Amazon rainforest? That's our fucking
I think primordial just means like it's been like since the beginning of time, right? Like before recorded history.
Everything's been since the beginning of time.
Yeah, but they mean like we mean like before the history of recorded time, like as in like man's tracking of time. Like primordial ooze would be like before the time of the dinosaurs. It'd be like what the first fish person with legs crawled out of would be the primordial ooze, right?
Right. What if you called your cum primordial ooze?
I'm gonna start doing that.
Prime. I'm about to prime.
Optimus Prime.
Anyway, let me get through this without getting mad again. On a surveillance mission in a forest, a park ranger encounters two survivalists following a post-apocalyptic lifestyle. The boy and his philosophical father seem to have that.
What's a philosophical father?
God damn it, that's bothering me too. The boy and his father seem to have their own religion and a mysterious relationship to nature.
What is a philosophical father? Is it just some guy you know who like reads you like
reads you Nietzsche and you don't even like it?
It's just this old guy who memorized The Art of War and he never shuts the fuck up.
The mysterious relationship to nature part makes me feel like they're like fucking tree stumps or something, like
or fucking that demigod, right? Right in her face pussy.
Right in her Amy Schumer.
Swollen. Right in her Schumer.
Oh god! Can you imagine if somebody called their vagina their Schumer hole? How fast you get a flaccid dick?
Put it right in my shoom.
You gotta shoot in the Schumer hole.
You gotta coom in the shoom.
No, you can't coom in the shoom. You don't coom in the shoom.
Okay, no one wants to get the shoom pregnant. Oh wait, oops. There are many suspicious aspects to this existence, but when the cabin is attacked by strange post-human beings one night, she learns that there is a greater threat in this emergent wilderness. Gaia is an ecological horror fantasy which engages the burning issues of our time. A couple points got knocked off this movie just off the top from that fucking summary.
No, who wrote that summary?
I want to watch it.
Is that a third-party summary? Does it sound like somebody who wanted to sound smart was trying to summarize the movie?
I assume the studio did. Like, just underneath the trailer. It's usually just what they release, the synopsis of the film.
I've got to be honest with you. Like, the trailer looks smart, but that synopsis sounds like a dumb person read a dictionary.
The trailer looks like The Descent, except instead of being underground, everyone's tripping on mushrooms. That's the
like,
vibe that I got from
it. That's really accurate.
Yeah.
The summary sounds like Amy Schumer wrote it.
I wish I would have stumbled upon this.
Break from our sponsor.
I wish I would have stumbled upon this without knowing what it was about. And like remember how we watched The Descent for the first time? And
and it was just like, what?
Yeah, well, we did that with a few movies back when we lived together when we were kids. Like The Descent and what was that French movie? Where the girl ends up being the killer and she doesn't know it the whole time.
High Tension.
High Tension,
yeah,
yes.
That movie was fucked up.
Dude, yeah. Oh my god. But I wish I could discover more movies that way. Like where it's like this one's I feel like this could have been one of those films if the trailer didn't give away so much. Yeah. But also, I don't know.
I feel like the issue is that, like, when you're a kid, maybe your expectations are lower, or maybe we really did just happen to take a chance on a couple movies that were really good, and so you thought, like, that's what you have to do. You have to take a chance. And now most of the movies, and you waste your whole fucking afternoon watching a piece of shit, and it's like, it just sucks to get home from work and you have a couple hours of just you time, and you take a risk on a movie that ends up being really bad, and then it's like, well, I got to go to bed now, so, I mean... You know,
have you ever just stopped a movie 45 minutes in and just decided to beat off the remainder of your alone time?
I sometimes I go do it and I don't pause the movie, so I'm like, that way I get through it quicker, you know?
That's fair.
Fair. Yeah, if you want to watch that for next week, I'm totally down to do that.
Yeah, I'm into that. I didn't know it was out, so yeah.
It's out for digital, so I can probably just rent it on my Prime account. We can all log in and watch it.
Very cool. Is what that bird meant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! What was the episode? Oh, right, it was going to be the tombstone of Bob and Coco. Sorry, that makes me
if you could add Amy Schumer placing flowers on the grave, that would just be,
or just her big fat greasy pussy just slathering across like a slug with like leaving a snail trail behind
it. That's one thing that will never curse my browser history, my friend.
Except it's not slug juice; it's just bacon grease.
Oh, gross. I feel like if you Googled Amy Schumer's pussy, your computer would just kill itself.
No, Google will be like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah, age verification. And no matter what you put in, it just fails.
I feel like if you Google Amy Schumer's pussy, it should pull up two browsers: one that shows you the image search results, and one that gives you the American Suicide Hotline's website.
And there's a specific like Amy Schumer division that they like.
It's like, did you see Amy Schumer's pussy? You thinking about ending it all?
Yeah, well, that's like the serious line. Like, they know that people.
Schumer pussy hotline. Your life is worth it.
Yeah.
They know if
there is life after Schumer pussy.
Quality might be severely diminished.
Yeah.
Schumer pussy is anonymous.
The good news is, after seeing Amy Schumer's pussy, like, you probably would never see another vagina that you wouldn't want to eat again in comparison, right?
You know. You know what they say, bro? Rising tide raises all ships. Oh my god. Okay.
Serious question. Would you rather have sex with Amy Schumer on live television or put your peen in a guillotine?
Live television.
I feel like this is an episode of Black Mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I like my penis far too much to chop him off.
Yeah, but you know that no one would ever touch that thing again once it's been in her, right? Like you couldn't wash it enough.
Yeah, but
Sam would be like,
the
yeah,
mark
we can do
of
it
Amy Schumer is on you. People just know wherever you go.
It's like the black spot from Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's just the entire head of your cock has mold on it.
It's like the Scarlet Letter. I have to walk around with a big A on my fucking shirt.
Yeah. No, just a big Y for yuck.
Let's move on.
Next trailer.
I think I figured out my birthday wish.
Wait. Oh! I got you caught in a conundrum. Derek, do you hate Amy Schumer?
Oh shit! Fuck Amy Schumer. I hate Amy Schumer.
I'm not coming on Amy Schumer. I don't know, that's a great conundrum. Like, the choice is still mine. Like, if Derek hates it, I have to decide whether I would or would not come on it. I'm not coming on Amy Schumer.
That's not fun. Take away your free will to Coom just for this question.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Next trailer.
I'll come on her grave.
Oh God. Well, at that point, it's just a choice between gray slabs, right? Which grabs. All right, this is
I feel like you use that same sentence to describe her vagina.
We opened up this episode talking about how we haven't been canceled yet. I just want to remind you guys of that.
I would defend, well, that's not true. I would defend most things on this podcast. I don't know. We're all pretty liberal fellows for the most part, socially, and try to. I don't know why I'm taking such a serious turn all of a sudden, but have tried our hardest to make sure that when we talk about controversial things, we present an open conversation about it. I would never shut anybody out. However, I mean, Amy Schumer's gonna die, right? Like she's gotta go.
Yeah, she's gotta go. Yeah.
Okay, she's next. So
she doesn't get buried near Bob, though. She can't be anywhere near Bob. She's got to be. We should just cremate her, right? Yeah, no one's gonna want to visit that grave anay.
Yeah, no tombstone for Amy Schumer.
No tomb for Schoom.
Do you think even the ashes would smell? They would probably still smell, right?
Yeah.
All right, I could rag on Amy Schumer all day. Unfortunately, there's a new trailer for Halloween Kills that we have to talk about. So,
yeah, it is unfortunate, isn't it?
What do you mean?
Scott, no.
Front Street. May I?
Front Street, please.
This trailer was so fucking good that I went back and watched. The 2018 Halloween reboot. I understand that you might not be crazy about the Halloween movies because like 90% of them are bad. But the way John Carpenter has reclaimed his franchise and said, yeah, all that other shit was fucking stupid. That wasn't me. None of it counts. Is brilliant. And the 2018 movie is one of the best horror movies we've gotten in a decade because it does exactly.
I've never seen it.
It does exactly what we talked about last week. There's no big twist. It's literally just scary and a well-told story start to finish the way it needs to be. There's no subverting expectations. It's literally Laurie Strode saying he's going to get out someday, he's going to kill everybody, and then he gets out and fucking kills everybody, and she gets that satisfaction of knowing that the last 40 years of her life that she lived like a fucking crazy shut-in weren't for nothing. And the way that movie ends and the way this trailer picks up is perfect. It reminds me of how they bridged the OG Halloween to Halloween 2 back in the day when John Carpenter stole the reins of it. And I'm so fucking excited for this.
Before Derek's smugness spills out over onto the microphone, I just gotta say, he's got this little smirk on his face. It looks like he's just about to go, I fucking hate it. I haven't seen the 2018 reboot, but I'm gonna watch that for next week. Am I the only one who hasn't seen it?
No, I haven't seen it either.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it. You don't have to.
Really I just good.
I meant to watch it and I just never did. I had no reason not to watch it. The one thing in this trailer I did really like is when he came out of the burning building and just murdered all the firefighters.
Yeah, I hated that so much. It felt like it was like watching a fucking John Wick movie or something. Like, what?
Bro.
Is this like a fucking, like a serial killer movie? Or like he grabs the one, he's like, let me get my chainsaw to fight this guy. And he just turns it against him. Oh, I hated it so much. It was so cheese.
The way the first one ends, I mean, like, clearly the first one ends.
I'll watch it too. I'll watch it. I haven't, but.
Clearly the way the first one ends has something to do with the way this trailer begins, right? So if you haven't seen that one, it's hard to be excited about the opening sequence as much because it does feel a little ridiculous. But obviously, the first movie ends with that house fire. We're picking up right where that one left off, very much in the same way that the original Halloween ended with him falling out and disappearing, and then them going to the mental hospital with Dr. Loomis in the second one. So this mirrors that in a really interesting way, where it's almost like John Carpenter saying, like, it's almost like he's saying, this is my new trilogy that kind of stands on its own from that first movie, and he's kind of repeating the same pattern, right? Like, it's meant to be 3 films. Like, as they're driving away in the truck, like, the first movie just ends with them escaping, right? Like, I'm not going to give away the specifics, but obviously, if they're all alive, we all know that. That's not a spoiler. Mm-hmm. We see them driving past in the truck that they got in, watching the fire trucks go, and you see them all screaming, let it burn. Like, the panic in their faces after everything they just went through makes perfect sense. And then watching a firefighter go in to rescue who he thinks is someone trapped in a burning building, and it's a fucking killer that's been terrorizing the town all night. It's good writing. It really is, especially for a horror movie. It's the only logical way he could have gotten out of there, and the way they did it and managed to turn it into like a giant action set piece at the very beginning, like set the tone.
I agree. Like the idea of a firefighter going in to save him, like that's scary. Like that's good horror. Like because you're like, fuck, get out of there. That's the whole like aspect of all those.
They don't know
cheesy,
who they're saving.
Like,
they don't know that they're saving someone who's gonna kill them all.
But that sequence was fucking Freddy or Jason in space and Freddy versus Jason tier with him fighting the firefighter. It was so bad, dude. I had to look away from the screen. I'm not even kidding. It was
the trailer cut it in a really fast way to get it all in there in a short period of time. There's no way it's going to be cut like that. You know what I mean? That's going to be like a brutal scene that's going to like play out with him one by one, killing his way out. Because the first movie in this trilogy did that a lot. It would be one continuous shot of Michael just out fucking about, like looking around, like making his way back to his childhood home, and he encounters somebody along the way, and it would just be like one continuous shot of him going into a house, killing somebody, and then walking right back out the front door. You know, like going through the back door, murdering somebody, and going out the front door, and just going about his business. If we get a shot tracked like that here, I think you're honestly going to love the way this scene turns out. The writing of the scene, I think, is fucking awesome. I think like that's the only way they could have possibly made this into a sequel. Obviously, because otherwise he burns to death. I'm so excited for it, man. And that opening scene, I think, that opening cut of the trailer was my favorite part of it.
I actually don't have much else to say. I don't like it. I think it looks bad. I think I already said everything I have to say about the fire scene. The lines, one was, what do? We fight. Made me just want to kill myself. I just wanted to die right then and there. It's just over for me after that. It was so corny. It was so cheese. And then there was one, this ends tonight. Like this is the fucking Matrix or something. Just bad dialogue. Just
I feel like Derek doesn't like any horror movie that's not A24.
No, that's not true. I like the early Halloween movies, and this is actually sacrilegious, but I like the Rob Zombie ones too. I like the old slasher.
Rob Zombie ones are great. But the thing is, like, horror movies have always had that level of cheese. Like all the biggest, most iconic ones, like that's
in
not
the 80s though. It's not the 80s anymore.
I mean, look at Scream. You know what I mean? Look at any more modernized versions of like the Halloween movies that came over into like the 90s and early 2000s. Some of those were really bad, but the dialogue has been consistent throughout all of them. Like every Freddy Krueger movie, every Friday the 13th, they've all had that cheese. They all have those one-liners because like they want to be 80s action movies still, no matter how far we get from the 80s. It's true.
I guess. I mean, I feel like the new Freddy movie, which I don't know how the jury is out on that, but I liked it. Newish. It's like 10 years old, but that didn't have the same. And I know that's with the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Like that cheesiness of it is a part of its charm. But no, I like cut and dry horror movies. I like the A24 movies. Like I don't mind saying it. I think a lot of them are good. Some of them are really bad. Same as the more mainstream horror movies. But I just think this looks fucking bad. Like. The dialogue throughout was horrible. They spoiled like the whole fucking movie, by the way, in the trailer. Like, you know exactly what's going to go down. They showed like how many people, like their faces high and tight like this, getting stabbed through the throat. It was like literally 20 people. And like, all right, the moment I see them on screen, I know that they're going to die. Like there's no element of surprise to that whatsoever. Jamie Lee Curtis, who I like, I'm not talking shit on Jamie, but she was just bad in this. She was bad in this trailer. I hated it.
Wow.
I would suggest that you guys watch the 2018.
I will.
And then you know, like, you know, we'll see how you feel about it when it's contextualized a little bit.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I will absolutely watch.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really give thoughts about the trailer. I thought it was okay. I don't know. I don't really have a lot to say about it. I don't have the context of the first film. It looked fine. I really liked the firefighter scene. I thought that was great. I know we've already talked about it. I don't really have anything else to add. I mean, sure, I'll watch it when it comes out. I thought Jamie Lee Curtis was totally acceptable. Derek. Hater.
It's okay. It's very rare that we get into it like that, though. Which we didn't even get into.
No, I love you. I love you, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
I wasn't attacking you. Let me be clear. I wasn't attacking you. I was attacking this movie.
No, but the thing is, like, when you watch the 2018 Halloween, it recaptures the same energy of the original from the 80s so perfectly that it's like, even if you're not in love with certain aspects of it, it's hard not to appreciate what it's doing and the fact that John Carpenter's like reclaiming his namesake. You know what I mean? Like someday John Carpenter is gonna pass away. And it's going to say Halloween director dies at age whatever the fuck he is.
Yeah.
It's his. We talked about it last week about James Cameron trying to make Avatar his Halloween. You know, I mean, this is John Carpenter's Star Wars, and granted, it's not as big of a franchise. No one's going to buy it for $4 billion, but he's made a mark on horror, man. Like Halloween inspired hundreds of other copycats that followed throughout the 80s and 90s. One of which being Friday the 13th. And unfortunately, I think we also talked about this the other week. The critical success of Friday the 13th kind of sullied or tarnished the brand of Halloween, and it became this churn out one every couple years. Now he's killing her little cousin. It's like, well, why the fuck would he care about this 8-year-old he's never fucking met who lives in Iowa?
That's also like, and I think that does factor into this, by the way, is that like, those classic slasher films, it's like you have Mike Myers, you have Freddy, and you have Jason. I always think I liked it was a tie between Freddy and Jason, and like Mike Myers, like the Halloween movies were always good to me, but they weren't like, I really liked the Freddy movies and Jason movies.
Yeah, they're more
other
creative.
Than Freddy versus Jason, of course, but
I love that one. It's so bad.
For like its corny factor, it is good to appreciate. But so I think that like Halloween movies were always second tier to me to begin with, even the ones I did like. But no, I'll watch the 2018. I'll watch this one too. I never mind, taking a risk on a movie, and of course, just love talking about it on the show. So.
I kind of actually agree with Derek. If I had to rate the older horror movies, I would not put Halloween near the top. I just always thought the guy in the generic white mask was boring as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, it's fair.
He always felt like a discount Jason to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the crazy thing is he came first.
Did he really?
Yeah. But all like when the first two Friday the 13th, the first killer is Mrs. Loomis.
Yeah, and then he has like a pillowcase.
Sorry, Mrs. Voorhees. Yeah. And then he had a sack over his head, and it wasn't until Friday the 13th Part 3 that he actually got the hockey mask.
Yeah.
But I also believe that Halloween released before the first Friday the 13th. I want to say it was like 78.
Mm-hmm. I know Halloween is old as fuck.
Yeah, let me double check here.
How'd you guys feel?
1978. I was right.
Yeah.
And then Friday the 13th, I believe, was 82? Or was it 79? I'm sorry, go ahead.
How do you guys feel about Jason Takes Manhattan? I know there's a big divide on that one. That was always my favorite.
It's the worst one, but it's the best because it's the worst, right? Like he punches the guy's head off.
He punches his head off.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so 1980 is when the first, so there's a 2-year gap between when the Friday the 13th series started. Halloween started it all. And the thing is, the first 2 Halloween movies were meant to be grounded. They weren't meant to be larger than life, right? So he's just a kid who had some issues, some psychological problems, who snapped and murdered his sister. And then he escapes and he goes to kill his other sister, his younger sister, who's still alive, Laurie. And it was meant to be grounded to be something that would actually terrify you. You know, it takes place in a town that's based on Haddonfield, New Jersey, which is literally 15 minutes from where I live, and where TCN lives. What I'm saying is track us down on Google Streets and murder us in our driveways.
I'd appreciate it if you didn't. That'd be cool.
I'm like 45 minutes away. You have to determine the direction. If you figure out which direction, then you kind of deserve to.
Yeah, if you find and murder me, then TCN's not far. It's just like if you gotta follow the breadcrumbs. But good luck finding Derek. You gotta really But
once you kill Scott, just start a Marco Polo game where you say Amy Schumer's dirty pussy, and I'll just answer back and go, no, thank you. Yuck is way better. Yuck. Oh, he's this way. All right, so
or you can just yell out "Free Assassin's Creed Valhalla DC," and you'll hear Chris go, "Hell yeah!"
For real, sick.
Because hell yeah. Halloween Kills comes out October 15th, which is weird. Why wouldn't you just release it on Halloween? Whatever, no big deal. And next we have another horror movie trailer to talk about, which is Candyman trailer number dos. So I don't recall when the first trailer released, but I did remember watching it. It might have been before we started podcasting.
It was a while ago. It was about a year ago.
Got delayed by the pandemic type things. What's exciting about this remake, or this. I don't know if it's a remake or a reboot or a true sequel. This is actually going to be directed by Jordan Peele, our bully who did Get Out.
Oh, he's producing, I believe.
Producing, right? Yeah. I don't think he's directing.
Oh, you are correct. It was written by him. Oh, shit. It was written by him. This film is directed by Nia DaCosta, written by Jordan Peele, Wynn Rosenfeld, and DaCosta. So they're all hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Making some movie.
I never saw the original films. I know they exist. I don't know if they were scary.
Yes.
Yeah, they were pretty horrifying.
They were scary?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Listen, I know it's kind of cliche, but Jordan Peele, ever since he did Get Out, he's kind of had like people pay attention to him whenever he does a new project.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other thing he did that I'm blanking on?
Us.
Thank you, Us.
Yeah.
That's why, because it was just one word. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I thought the trailer was pretty cool. I forget what's this guy's name. Yahya Abdul Mateen II, the guy who played Mantis in Aquaman.
Yeah.
He's awesome. I like him a lot, and he's the main character in this movie. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it looks pretty cool. There's this neat animation in the trailer that's horrifying almost, but it's really cool looking. I don't know. I don't know how much to say about it because I don't know much about Candyman. I think the trailer looks pretty sick. It comes out this year. It's gonna be
pretty soon
on August 27th. Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah. 2 months. 2 months from today, actually. Guy, how you feel about it?
In the time since we first covered, I think we talked about this movie at one point before, but we missed the first trailer. There have been 2 trailers that have released. In one of them, they showed something that kind of it's kind of like a well-known fact in the 80s and in the 90s. A lot of times, the black character would die first in a horror movie. It became such a big joke that when the Wayans brothers did Scary Movie, they brought that up constantly and made fun of it. And in subsequent Scary Movies as well. But there's one part of the first trailer of this where there's 5 little white girls in a bathroom and they all together do the Candyman shtick. And there's one black girl who's in the stall. She might be doosing, she might be peeing. It's not our business. It's her private time. But she's in the stall, and these girls do the Candyman summoning ritual, and they're oh, ha ha ha. You think they're all together. There's no way something bad could happen, and then all 5 of them just get fucking slaughtered, and you can't see Candyman's reflection. So you see them getting murdered in the reflection of the mirrors, getting torn apart, and one of them drops a little hand mirror, and she's looking at it under the stall, and you're watching a girl get hooked and almost like possession of fucking Amy. What is it? Fucking
Amy Schumer's pussy.
Yeah. Possession of Amy Schumer's pussy style. Exorcism of Emily Rose style, doing this, almost like a stigmata, getting dragged up in the air by an unseen force. I love what they're doing with this, where he is becoming possessed by the spirit because he's awoken something. Yeah. I think that's a really cool way. I like the way they've rewritten the story of this, where it's it's no longer about a 200-year-old tragic love story. It's more modernized, and it's more about police brutality, which is something that a lot of Jordan Peele's movies have subtle, very well nuanced little nods to, right?
What was it, Scott? Was it that he was giving candy to kids or something, and the cops figured he was doing something wrong, so they killed him or something? There were
razor blades in some candy that kids got, not from him specifically. They don't, but the police just know. There's a guy called the Candyman. Yeah, and they basically, we don't know the specifics, but essentially they brutalized him to death.
Yeah.
Where I'm not sure where the hook comes from in this canon. I'm sure it's going to be awful. I hope they don't cut his fucking hand off on screen. They're probably gonna. That was a big part of the OJ.
Probably gonna.
But and then after they beat this poor man to death, a week or 2 later, more candy full of razor blades. More children got hurt, and they find out, it couldn't have possibly been this guy.
Right.
So it's and it all takes. I believe it's supposed to be the projects in Is it take place in Los Angeles?
I'm not sure.
I think so. I don't think they really made it specific.
Yeah. But it's supposed to, it's kind of modernizing it, because every neighborhood growing up has the ghost story of the the Atco ghost or Slabtown Road if you lived in Woodstown. Every area has their little lore, something that the kids just fabricate over years, and it gets It's like that story. Like every time you pass along, it gets more grandiose, a little bit more exaggerated.
Yeah.
Right.
Like somebody could have had a car accident on this road 20 years ago, but now it's haunted by the ghost of the man whose wife died in the river. And it's just like, it's their take on that, like a modern take on a classic story. I think it looks really fucking cool, man. And I really hope we get to see Tony Todd. I hope at some point in the mirror, just a cameo from Tony Todd as the Candyman. Because we're seeing him possessed by the spirit. We're not actually seeing the Candyman at any point.
Himself, yeah. I think that's what they're going to do. I hope that would be so fucking cool.
I need to see Tony Todd, man, because this man is a titan of the horror industry, from his cameos in the Final Destination movies to his role as the Candyman.
And his gravelly, haunting voice. I just need to fucking hear it. My God. And that's why I think that's what they're going to do, because it sounds like you can hear the Candyman talking, not what's the MC who's being possessed by him, but you hear like the Candyman talking in the trailer, and he has a very low, very gravelly voice. And I'm thinking, like, I don't know, I could IMDb it, but then that would spoil it, so I don't want to. No,
he's done a lot of voice acting work too, apparently.
I believe that 100%. But no, I think it looks awesome too. I love when they you opened up with this, so I just want to say I agree with you. I love when they throw sort of horror conventions out the window. Like usually they wait until it's just one person by themselves and it's dark and to have this well lit bathroom filled with people and they all get fucking murked. It's just like they're in an environment where you, the viewer, go like, well, nothing's going to happen. Like I've seen a horror movie. I know how this goes down. It's not until one walks away and then they hear a noise in the closet and then the lights flicker. No, it all happens right there. In broad daylight, yeah. In broad daylight, yeah. I love Jordan Peele. I don't care if it's cliche. I think he's was great as a comedian when he was doing that, and now he makes excellent TV shows and movies. So I didn't like Us as much as Get Out. That seems to be the general consensus for just about everyone. But it was still good. It was still well shot and well done.
The thing is, like, Us suffers from that M. Night Shyamalan predictable twist syndrome. Yeah, right? Where like you see it coming like halfway through the movie, and you're like, okay. Like,
now I just have to kind of sit through the rest, even though I know what the reveal is going to be. Yeah. But Candyman, it's just like, it's. I feel like it's harder for that movie to suffer from something like that.
Yeah.
The elements of what makes Candyman scary are already in this trailer. I don't know. I'm super psyched for it. I think it's going to be awesome. The scene, I'll say, final thought, where the like art curator or whatever like has his hands on the handles of the door and he's like being dragged by this invisible force and he finally lets go and he just smacks his fucking face into the ground and there's this blood splatter that comes out of his nose. I was like, this movie's gonna be gory and bloody and fuck, dude. It looks really good.
I think we're gonna see the summer of slashers. You know what I mean? We're gonna see a revive, like, summer and fall. You know what I mean? Because there's so many great horror movies coming out in the next year that have been pushed, like even Antlers. You know what I mean? I think we're gonna see a real return to form for horror in the next year, because the only movies you can push out during this time are the ones that rely heavily on special effects, right? Because 90% of the movie is done in post, and we saw that with The Conjuring. We see it with like 10 other copy paste ghost stories this year. Most of what's released on time has been CGI heavy spook stories, and they all suck. So between Antlers with the practical effects, the cool creature features coming back, and Halloween and Candyman, man, it's gonna be a great season for horror.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. All right, cool. So that comes out August 27th. It's 2 months from now. We have one more trailer to talk about before we talk about our small main topic category. Actually, would you want to go pee now? Do you have to go? Anybody?
I'll just go pee now.
Okay.
Why not?
Two little poots of main topic. That's all we got for you. Two little poots.
Two little poots. I mean, kind of a quiet week, all things considered. I mean, it looks like, I don't know if I'd mentioned this, but there's another DC online event. It's called DC Fandom. It's happening next month, I think.
Wait, DC like the game, like DC Universal Online?
No. Okay. Like their property is DC. It's like their own little online event. Everyone's doing their own thing. Like even all the E3 company, like Sony's doing their own thing. Anyway, they did one last year and it was pretty successful. It was when the first trailer for the Batman came out, along with some other stuff. They're doing another one this year, which I think is next month. I could be wrong. DC Fandom 2021, just so I'm not a complete moron. It's gonna be next month. I hate when the date's not right on fucking Front Street. It's not going to be next month. It's going to be October 16th. Everybody thought that that's when they were going to have the next Batman trailer. That feels far.
I mean,
right? Like
it does.
The first one,
it does. But we've also been kind of in limbo with a lot of films the same way, right?
Yeah, that's true. It just feels like, I mean, the movie's coming out March 2022. We had one trailer a year ago.
Yeah,
it's just. I mean, obviously, I know it's pandemic related, and that's why it's been like this. But anyway, thanks for listening. I always feel like this part's kind of weird because if you're here, you're already listening. But fuck it. You can find us on Facebook.com/thecynicalnerd. You can send us an email if you want to at questions@thecynical. Scott, where can they find us at Twitter?
We are at The Cynical Nerd. We got it back, boys.
Oh shit!
I feel like every week since we've gotten it back, we've mentioned that we've gotten it back, but I haven't had a chance to mention it yet. I just listen to it in the playbacks because I'm usually peeing or grabbing a beer or doing something. If you guys are still listening after all the Amy Schumer jokes, I just want to thank you guys. You are truly, patient.
Probably grew our listenership, to be honest.
Yeah, but also, like, if you're listening to us out loud at work in the office, you are a brave person.
You're also probably fired, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
Probably now jobless. We're sorry. We're not helping you. You did this to yourself?
Unless your boss hates Amy Schumer, right? If your boss hates Amy Schumer, he might walk by like, yeah, she's a dumb cunt. And then, like, next thing you know, you're invited to Sunday golf, right? But also, yeah, you know.
And then you get a raise, and you move to a bigger house, and really all that's does. Yeah. So,
and then you're out at the country club with your boss, just for a luncheon or some shit, and you see Amy Schumer across the way, and your boss, oh my god, there she is, and you guys have a little laugh because that's a joke you share now, all because you listen to the TCN podcast. You're welcome. We changed your life, changed the entire. Your
dreams have come true.
Yeah. We just sat here in silence for 3 minutes straight. We didn't say a fucking word.
Okay.
Yeah, we decided to just make it really weird for everybody.
Yeah. All right.
We didn't even announce we were going to be silent so that they weren't sure if, like, they probably turned it off thinking we cut out. Yeah. So now you can say whatever you want now about Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
Well, I apologize because on my way back from the bathroom, I saw a bag of chips. I was like, I can have one of those, right? And then I ended up having like 20 of them. And I was sort of in this like trance. Oh, sour cream and onion, of course.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can't have just chips. One of those.
No. And eventually at some point I was like, oh, shit, like I'm recording right now. I like completely just forgot. It's actually kind of embarrassing. But anyway, so I'm back. And that was about half of the time. What would be embarrassing
if you did that for like sea salt and cracked pepper chips, right? Like, come on.
Yeah, or like Triscuits.
Yeah. Or like when they try to make wheat thins taste like other things, but it still just tastes like a wheat thin covered in dust. Right? Yeah. Just change the texture.
Anything that you like need a tall glass of water to wash the taste of out of your mouth after you eat it, it's just not worth eating, right? That's the point.
How's that a snack, right? Like,
it's just a job at that point.
You're describing like 50% of all Chex Mix to me right now.
I love Chex Mix.
Ugh.
I like the ones that are like coated in chocolate, Those are pretty tight.
Yeah. Toy.
Those are called like Muddy Buddies or something.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But that name makes me like it less, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like what a gross thing to call something.
It's just a weird thing. Sounds like a butt fucking buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I brought my Muddy Buddy. Hope that's okay.
I brought my Muddy Buddies by +1. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right, so...
And he brought his unwashed cock. We're here to party.
Ooh, gross.
Never washes. Isn't that weird? Everything but.
I didn't clean off my butthole either.
Oh, no.
See, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
What a transition.
A second. Speaking of Muddy Buddies.
So Shang-Chi, right?
Shang.
Sorry.
I mean, look, I don't know if it's right. I'm just copying. I'm being a lemming. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings released their second trailer for this film that I keep forgetting is so soon. It's like less than 3 months from now, September 3rd, which is right after Candyman. We're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about end of August, September, I think. Like Scott was saying, I don't really have a lot of notes for this trailer, and that's not a bad thing. I continue to look forward to this movie. I think it looks like a breath of fresh.
Yeah. Just do it.
One more time. You got it.
Yeah. One more time, and if you don't get it, you're fucking done.
Yeah.
Stop recording. Scott and I will finish it up.
A breath of fresh air. It looks like a breath of fresh air in the MCU to me. It just looks like, uncharted territory, but no, it doesn't look like we're going to get another person's filled in backstory, which is the biggest bonus to this film that I can give. I've really enjoyed the notes I have. Two things. One, really, you're bringing back Abomination. If it's just a cameo like this, that's kind of cool. If he's just in a round, you're like, oh, he still exists. Okay, cool, whatever. I think it's what it's going to be. The second one is that I really enjoy the way they've kind of redone the rings themselves. Obviously, if they left them as actual fucking rings like they were in the comic books, then everyone's going to make allusions to like the Infinity Stones, stuff like that, because they all had like various powers and different colored gems in them.
Yeah.
And the way they did it makes so much sense with the culture and the history of which they're coming from, to be these kind of like wrist arm rings that he uses in combat. I just thought there's a flashback to an older battle, and he has them, and they kind of shoot down from his arm, and he throws energy. I thought it looked fucking badass. I don't really have much else to say besides I think the movie looks cool, and I'm looking forward.
May I?
Hell yeah. I feel like that was a good one.
That was a pretty good one. I was actually excited to see Abomination in the trailer because I'm anticipating it just being a cameo, and I'm excited I'm excited that means we're probably not going to see Wolverine in a cage fight, right? Because that'd be the shittiest way to possibly introduce mutants to
That's true.
The MCU is just to have Wolverine like in a kid. Oh, by the way, he's been here the whole time.
You mean just like he was in the original X-Men movie?
Yeah. Even if they did cast Shia LaBeouf, I would be furious if that's how they introduced the new Wolverine. But I gotta say, man, like, I think this just looks like they're doing less interesting Infinity Stones to me. Like, I understand that they didn't want to have it be too similar and have the rings, you know, but it doesn't look like we're gonna get any of the special abilities in these rings. It looks like he just throws them around like it's fucking Sonic. It looks so stupid. Visually, I don't think they look bad, but it looks like they just dumbed it down to make it less interesting. Like, this trailer kind of has me like going from really excited to like, all right, like it looks like standard MCU fanfare now to me.
Well, I mean, spoiler alert, it's gonna be standard MCU fanfare. I just thought it was more. I mean,
I was interested in seeing it as more of like a movie about like the fighting style, right? Like an emphasis on like, I don't want to call it a kung fu movie because I feel like that might have some weird. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mean it like that.
I don't know. I think it is a kung fu movie. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, it's
I want to see an MCU kung fu movie. I want it to be
at least stylizing it after one.
Yeah, I want to see something in the vein of like an old Jackie Chan movie. You see stunts, you're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like cool shit like that, where like he's using everything around him as a weapon. You know what I mean? Like that old school, like we talk about Ip Man, right? And like Ong Bak and all those great like kung fu movies we watched when we were growing up. I want to see something of that caliber, and like the first trailer gave us little.
Man is so good, dude. Donnie Yen is that's my honey. That's my baby boy.
The first trailer gave us like little nods to those things, and like in some of the shots, and even if it is CGI, I don't care how they're recreated. I just want to see those moments on screen in the MCU. And this looks like it's just going to be like magic's going to trump all, and that ruins it for me. That's really all I got. Like I don't care about their like. Why can't he just use, you know, superior fighting ability and everything around him to best somebody who uses magic? Why does he have to get in on the action? And now, like, he's gonna control the ring. Like, fuck you, Kevin Feige.
Fair, but I don't know. I'm still like, I was never like, ooh, I can't wait for this movie. But like the first trailer, I went, all right, that actually looks like it might be okay if they do things in the right way. Like if they want to sort of like dip into the kung fu movie thing, then do it right. Don't cut the fucking camera every 0.7 seconds. Like, let shots ride. Get people who know how to fight, so you don't have to like frame shots to be or cuts rather to be, you know, a sub-second at a time. Do it in the right way and it'll come out well. What I saw in the first trailer seemed like there was a possibility they might do that. I didn't see anything that disproved that in this. But this one was much more like it jumped around a lot more, so it didn't like sit and hang as much as the first one did. But it didn't take anything away from my expectation for it. I don't know. I'm kind of like, this trailer was cool, but it didn't wow me or anything. I'm still kind of, like I said, I'm exactly where I was, and I'm okay with that. What's his name from Doctor Strange? Sorry, Chris is in this. What's his name again?
No, it's fine. Who from Doctor Strange? I don't know. Who was
talking about Wong?
Yeah. He just looks like a fat version of my stepdad, so it's hard for me to take him seriously. Yeah, that's it. That's my final thought.
Fair.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Pull him up right now and tell me he doesn't look like Lee. Pull him up right now and tell me he doesn't look like Fat Lee.
All right, I'm doing it.
Sorry, listeners. Okay.
Feel free to carry on. I'm just gonna
carry on. That actually wraps up our trailer conversation. I'm looking forward to it. I think some of the combat looks really neat. Some of it looks like a Crouching Tiger influence a little bit.
Okay, yeah, he does.
And there's the payoff. But that wraps up the trailer, boys. We got two things to talk about. Pretty light weekend review to go over, which is fine. We actually still fleshed out the episode pretty well. Our two topics, once again, as a reminder, are Loki, episode 3, and the movie Luca. I actually wouldn't mind doing Luca first so that we could just talk about Loki as much as we want and then call it. So Luca came out on Disney Plus about a week and a half ago. It is basically... It's obviously geared towards a younger audience. I watched it with my wife and son, who watched it kind of for the first half hour and then just fucked off to whatever he was doing. I don't know. It's Pixar. It was charming. It told a nice story. It was heartwarming. The ending was a little unexpected for me. I didn't think they were gonna allow them to, I didn't think the village was gonna, spoiler alert, accept them as monster people. I don't know. It didn't impact me heavily as some Pixar movies have. It didn't have one of those holy shit moments for me, but it was just like a nice little film to watch and enjoy, and thought it was charming. And the end. I don't know. That's all I gotta say about it. I don't have anything else to say about it.
I mean, I've heard people say that, before watching, I heard people compare it to The Little Mermaid. Right?
Yeah, I was one of them, which I thought was totally inaccurate. But
yeah. I mean, it definitely, it's just about acceptance, right? It's just about it's about wanting to be accepted by people that are different than you, wanting feeling like maybe where you are isn't where you belong, and where you want to be, you don't fit in, right? But I think this movie did a few things beautifully, like the relationship between Luca and his friend. Oh God, I forget his name. I'm sorry.
Alberto.
Alberto. But it's this movie's a perfect example of removing toxic masculinity from all those old fucking Beauty and the Beast, right? Every male character in that movie is a piece of shit. But in this
giant bag of dicks.
Yeah, in this you have two little boys running around holding hands, laying under the stars together. There's no, it just feels wholesome, and all those old I guess weird guidelines of what it means to be a masculine and be a man are erased in a lot of modern storytelling, especially by Disney. I think that's really cool to see these boys that back in the day when we were kids, if you had two young kids with this kind of intimacy and honesty and relationship together on screen, people would have had something negative to say about it. And now it tracks as just kids being kids, just casual. I mean, there's nobody up in arms over Luca. There's nobody. Oh God!
Oh no! What did you do? Oh, you know what? I saw the smirk, and I knew that you were up to something, and I didn't know what it was. That's pretty funny.
Is that his ham? Did he make that himself? He looks so proud.
Yeah. He's real into cooking meats, just like Mark Zuckerberg.
Sorry, boys. Sorry, listeners. We're looking at something in a Discord channel that you'll never see.
Yeah.
So,
or maybe we have an episode image. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, Tombstone.
Lee's meats. No, but sorry, but yeah, it just there was a few things that were a little bit weird to me. Just nitpicking, what kind of monster makes a child eat a giant plate of pasta before a fucking long distance bike ride? You animals.
Yo, but that pasta looked tight. That looked so good.
Dude.
My God.
Yeah, it looked pretty tasty.
I'd say it was just charming. It was cute, right? Silencio Bruno. I found myself smirking every single time. It had a lot of heart, man. It was really well written, and it had a beautiful ending.
Yeah. I agree, and really all that toxic masculinity that just funneled into Ercole Visconti, the douche of the town douche, we'll say, who was just proper hateful. Like you're like, oh, that's the guy I'm supposed to channel all my rage towards. I got you. Okay, cool.
It used to be like even like the male protagonist or the main male character of the Disney movies would have like some of those traits, but he's rough around the edges, but he's got a good heart. And now it's just like these are just genuinely kind-hearted people from start to finish, and you see them go on a journey where, like it's not any less satisfying because it's not like this giant transformative thing. The world changes around them through getting to know them instead of them having to like have some great epiphany and become a better person. And I think that's like a lot of the old Disney cartoons were written in a different time where like nursery rhymes were about the Black Plague. It was it was okay. It's okay to kill Bambi's mom and watch that shit when you were like 5 years old. It's like, oh, it's Disney. Don't worry. But I don't know. I love what Pixar's been doing recently. I think this is one of, I would prefer to watch this or have my kids someday watch this over the Little Mermaid, right? Because what's the narrative of that one? If you're different, you got to change for a man.
Change yourself. So that
you got to change
like
if you want. Yeah, you got to change if we want men to like you. Like, I don't want my little girl watching that. I don't have a little girl. But
they have a charming crab who does a racist Jamaican accent the entire time. Yeah. What's the matter?
Well, I don't know if a crab can be racist.
Well, crab can't be, but the accent pretty shitty.
Can you imagine Sebastian is dropping hard N bombs? Like, I'd be so
right at the end, right before the credits roll. Boom, and then it's just done. Credits. Oof. Yeah. Disney, why would you do that?
He just looks directly into the non-existent camera. Everybody gets one.
I didn't. It was okay. Like it was it was like it was good. It was good. It was more than okay. I would classify it under like the like Brave category where it's like well animated, story was good, but it wasn't like there was no like overarching lesson that sticks with you like there was in like Coco or like
God, I love Coco.
Coco is it's excellent. Or Up or any of those. Like it was just kind of like it was a very, very cute movie, very well animated. Color palette was incredible. Voice acting was incredible, but it was just like it was a cute movie. And a year or two from now, I'll probably forget everything about it.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I did like Silencio Bruno. I don't know. That was kind of addictive.
I feel like in the beginning, it definitely had me way more. Like it had way more personality in the beginning. Than like, I think the backdrop of like a marathon or whatever you want to call it, decathlon was like, I'm not super interested in what's going on here. I don't like. I know they want a Vespa scooter, but also y'all could just steal one, right? Y'all could just steal one and go away. Nobody knows you here.
Yeah, just go back into the ocean. Like you're fine.
But that wouldn't be a lesson learned, right? They had to learn that it's okay to be yourself. I mean, it's obviously it's meant for a younger audience than most typical Pixar fanfare is, and we talked about that like last week and earlier, even in this podcast. But I mean, for age group, like 3 and up, it's probably the next Trolls or whatever the fuck the kids are watching.
Yeah, and I gotta Luca, good job with your fast food tie-in marketing because my son has had Luca toys for like 3 weeks because we got him a Happy Meal like 2 fucking weeks ago, and they had a little Luca toy, so he was ready. And I was like, "Oh shit, Luca came out today. Do you want to watch it?" And he was like, "Oh yeah," and he went and got his toys.
He's like, "Fuck yeah, Dad."
He's like, I'm on the ground floor of this bitch. You guys ready? All right.
I wish your kid really talked like that though. Like, oh shit, Luca came out. You want to watch it? He's like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, bitch. Throw that shit on.
Dad. Hell yeah.
Dad, you want to blaze first?
Yeah, Dad.
Hell yeah, Dad. Blaze it up.
You want to rip some doinks and watch Luca, Dad?
Fuck yeah, Dad.
Slonkin' doinks.
Slonkin' doinks.
Want to slonk a doink first?
Last but not least, we have the 3rd episode of the Loki series, which I've been off this week, so it feels like I watched it last week, but it was just a couple of days ago, where we see Sylvie and Loki together on a doomed planet. It's basically one of the apocalypses she wanted to hide in. Lamentis is the planet's name, and the whole movie follows just the two of them around as they try to figure out if they're going to sabotage this planet to get off of it, if they're going to help this planet to get off of it. Ultimately ends on kind of a cliffhanger that it felt a little unnecessary. I would rather them just wrapped up how they got off of it, and then the next week is the next thing. But I'm very much enjoying the show. I like this episode. I mentioned last week that I thought that a little sneaky do thing was going to be that she wasn't actually a female Loki. She was Enchantress, whose name is Sylvie Lushton, if I'm remembering correctly. And it looks like they're kind of doing that thing where they just take concepts in the comic book world and meld them together, where she is actually a Loki variant, but she's like forging her own personality. She's calling herself Sylvie. She doesn't want to be considered a Loki anymore.
Right.
And her power set's slightly different. And I like the show because of the same reason I've liked other superhero shows that are done well, where they give you a lot of time to dig into the cracks and the crevices to make you A, care about the characters, and B, explain things like how Enchantress's mind control works, which I thought was kind of cool. It's a neat little scene where he's like, wait, so how do you do that? And they kind of go through how she like gets in someone's head and like finds a memory and like twists it. Also, and I promise I'm done monopolizing the mic after this, there's a little reveal in this episode. Owen Wilson's character had told us previously that those people were basically created to work in the TVA and their whole existence was in the TVA. That's not true. One of the TVA agents she tries to mind control had a past life. She's been there for a couple hundred years, but she had a past life. So obviously we knew Man Behind the Curtain, Wizard of Oz, there's something weird going on with the TVA. But it was cool to kind of see how they figured that out. Yeah. And I enjoyed it. Scott, how'd you feel about Loki episode 3?
I loved it. I honestly I like the direction it's taking. I found out this week though that it's only a 6-episode run, which has me a little uneasy about the pacing so far. It seems like we've been taking our time building the world, and that's great, but we still have yet to get to the point, which means we're probably going to have to rush it at some point with 6 episodes, right?
I think I disagree. It's the 3rd episode, and he just spent an entire episode with the person we thought was the big bad. I feel like it feels
big bad, but it kind of pulls back the curtain, like we talked about, right? Like we now know that the timekeepers are going to be the big bad because Sylvie. We see flashbacks of Sylvie as a child, and she even says like I've been in captivity my whole life, which means they sought her out at a point when she was too young to even understand the consequences of her actions, to even understand what the sacred timeline was. And it raises the question, what are the timekeepers? Do they exist? Could the timekeepers be another Loki, maybe? Since there seem to be so many Loki variants and an obsession on watching and tracking Loki variants. Like, why? Like, granted, the TV is made up of all these other variants that have been, like, mind wiped and controlled. The only variants we've seen being tracked and acknowledged so far are Loki. And there's got to be a reason for that, right?
Yeah. The thought occurred to me, I'll say, the thought did occur to me that, like, the timekeepers are Loki. Like, it almost feels like if time is like a circle, or
he eventually succeeds and becomes the timekeepers
in overtaking them. Yeah, I did have the same thought. I don't know how that would work, but I will say that during this episode I had the same thought. Yeah, that he is somehow like maybe him, Sylvie, and another variant are the 3 timekeepers.
Yeah, and they don't know. Clearly, they don't know it yet, but we're gonna get there. I'm also wondering how this is gonna set up Multiverse of Madness because it feels like it has to, right? Like we know where Wanda is. But how do
I've had 2 theories about that. I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, no, I mean the thought was during WandaVision, like, oh shit, this is going to be the tie-in. Like we're going to see everything go crazy at the end of WandaVision, and it's going to be our lead-in to why Multiverse of Madness is happening, right? And then we really got nothing. Everything got wrapped up in a tight little box with a neat little bow, and we get that post-credit scene where she's like communing with a force that may be Mephisto, maybe another otherworldly demonic force. And it feels like it's now on these next 3 episodes to bridge that entire gap, right? Because we're not getting anything else between Multiverse of Madness and this, are we? Isn't Multiverse of Madness like we're getting Shang-Chi, but Multiverse of Madness, I believe, comes before the new Spider-Man, right?
I'm pretty sure. I have to look it up. The new
maybe not. I don't know.
I actually think the new Spider-Man comes first. Yeah, the new Spider-Man comes first because Spider-Man's this year in December, and Multiverse of Madness is March 25th, 2022.
Still don't have a fucking trailer. Pieces of
shit. I had floated that's true. I had floated this before, and So I think there's either two ways the show of Loki can go, and that's either A, they're setting up this kind of bigger arc with multiversal stuff that's going to, I think, be wrapped up between Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, because I don't think the MCU is going to go on infinite paths forever. It would be too much for them to corral into a storyline. I think they're going to be like, oh, here's the multiverse. Oh, something's fucking wrong. And then between Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, they kind of fix it / get all the shenanigans out of their system, and then we're back to some semblance of one timeline. Or Loki's sole existence as a series is to just kind of get the Marvel fans used to the idea of a multiverse, right. And whatever happens in Loki gets wrapped up in a nice little bow because it's a standalone series, and then from there we go into Doctor Strange, having already kind of understood how multiversal stuff works in the MCU. I'm really not sure which one they're going to take, just because it's a TV show. I would think maybe the second, kind of like a more of a standalone thing that doesn't have something directly related to it so much as like tangentially in Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. But we'll see. I mean, I hope that it does. I'm not sure.
Is this just one? Is it a limited series the same way Falcon Winter Soldier was, or is this potentially going to get other seasons?
They're being very coy about it.
It feels like this, out of all the shows we watched for the MCU so far on like Disney Plus, this one has the most potential to be long form. Granted, they're telling a story right now that's compartmentalized. Right. But it still has me wishing they would have done something in the vein of Sliders or X-Files or Quantum Leap, where it's like him jumping, or like, you know what I mean? Like, I understand that why they're not, but if they're doing this big continuous story to not set something up, it's going to feel like a waste to me. You know what I mean? Because this format works so well for weekly episodic conclusions.
Well, yeah, you literally be in a different environment every week.
Yeah, and so far we have been. But it's still this overarching story. And the thing is, like, are they going to pull an X-Files with this, where the first season's, very straight and narrow, and then eventually it branches out? Because it seems like there's unlimited possibilities, unless the big twist is you are the timekeeper. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
If they go that route, it kind of brings us to a conclusion that we can't rightfully see him continue with. He's not going to work for himself, knowing what he's going to become. You know what I mean? Like, why would he'll just overthrow himself in an endless loop and become the new one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like a Dormammu I've come to bicker scenario.
One of my favorite lines you've ever made. I think I'll be honest with you.
Thank you.
We haven't really let Derek give thoughts on it yet, but I will point out one thing. I thought this was an extremely Loki-esque plot device where both of them are very charming and likable characters. Obviously, they're on the train and they're having a great time, and you're having a good time watching it. And they're just casually talking about how they're going to like ruin the only chance any of these people on this planet have to escape so that they can get out. And you're like, oh, you're doing something really fucking shitty. You're planning to do something really shitty. I should not like you, but this scene's just a joy. So I'm having a good time. Derek, how'd you feel about episode 3?
I liked it. I actually did like this one. Not at first, but it kind of found its footing to me in this episode. I still think the thing that I said about the first episode, I still think that some of the shots go on way too long. Like, sometimes you get to a point in a scene where it's like, we've gotten the point of what they're doing right now. Like, go to the next thing. Like, you don't have to fill out 45 minutes. Just like, make every scene interesting. Like, you shouldn't be going for like longevity. Like, I don't understand that philosophy in show production. But no, it was good. I think a lot of it has to do with Sylvie being just adorable. I am just in love with her. She's incredible.
She is awesome. Yeah.
She's great. Her character is really interesting. We don't know much about her backstory, but what she's given us makes me want to know more. I think that her interaction with Loki is great. One thing that I said last week was that Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston have great chemistry on screen.
100%.
And in this episode, it was him and, I don't know the actress's name, unfortunately,
Sylvia De Martino.
That. And now I'm starting to realize, all right, Tom Hiddleston just knows how to have good chemistry with other actors on screen.
Yeah. He just seems like he must be a likable dude or something.
Yeah. The lines just bounce. Like, they're just so... But that being said, there were some scenes like the one on the train where they're going back and forth. I was like, holy shit, like, just go to the next thing. One thing that did not last too long was that tracking shot at the end of the episode. Now, I know a lot of this is green screen, but it still doesn't really make it any less impressive that really every actor and cameraman and lighting person, everybody on scene has to be in the right spot at the right time, and you can't fuck up one part of it. It was a good 2.5 minutes long, I think, which is impressive for, I don't think we've really seen tracking shots like that in Marvel shows or movies.
Well, much like the Daredevil show, there's a couple sneaky edits in that.
I remember there was one. Yeah, he runs by real quick, and the camera sort of whips, and I figured that. Was one of them,
I was watching a breakdown of, as I do, because I have nothing better to do with my life. It's like they're running through the scene. Like, they are impressive shots regardless, but they're running through the scene, and then they cut a corner, and then an extra walks by the camera, and that's one of the wipes. That's one of the cuts. Mm-hmm. And then there's another one where CGI something falls in front of the. There's a couple clever CGI edits, but the shot's pretty impressive nonetheless. It makes you feel like you're running with them the whole time, and it's really well done. I thought I liked it a lot.
Well, that's even also, Birdman in 1917. It's there are a lot of cuts throughout. It doesn't make it any less of a spectacle. It doesn't make it
because because they do them cleverly, and you can't tell that they're there until someone points them out to you, just like the Daredevil thing. Plus, when we were watching them in the town running in that final scene, I remember just looking over at my wife and being like, "This show looks really good." You can tell they're putting decent budget into it.
Yeah.
Because it looks just film quality. It's really well done. But yeah, I don't have anything else.
Yeah, no, this is the first one that I really, and even Veronica's been watching it with me, and we've largely been at the same spot for 1 and 2. She was kind of yeah, it was okay. We both liked this episode. It was enjoyable. I don't think it was great or anything, but it was definitely good.
Well, good.
I love the cliffhanger. I know that again, the little kid in you that wants to open his presents on Christmas Eve hates the cliffhanger. But
I am that guy, so.
Oh, I completely understand. But I think this episode did it it did it well, right? You were talking about how they're charismatic, they're about to do this terrible thing, but at the same time though, if this wouldn't be an apocalypse where she could get away with existing if everybody there wasn't already going to die. So it's not like they could even sabotage this ship. It was already destined to fail, and they find that out when they get there. You know what I mean? But still, just the implication of them even thinking about doing something like that. This is our
was great.
This is our protagonist. Loki's supposed to be we're supposed to be seeing a transformative version of him where he's no longer the piece of shit from the Battle of New York, and it's a reminder in this episode that he's still not far from there. It's easy to get wrapped up in how charismatic Tom Hiddleston is and immediately love this Loki, but this isn't the Loki we saw in Thor: The Dark World or Ragnarok, or you know what I mean. We have 5 to 7 years with this other variant of Loki that we've seen that dies at the hands of Thanos, and this is a reminder this is not the same Loki, but that he still is so fucking likable at every turn. Even when he's still even when he was a piece of shit in the first one, he was charismatic, with the exception of the weird Captain America confrontation scene where Chris Evans says the cringiest line in all of the MCU. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh, there's only one God, and what is it?
Oh no, that's not it. That I didn't mind that one as much.
There are so many cringy lines in the first movie. I'm sorry, it does not hold up as well.
The last time I saw somebody standing above everyone else, we ended up disagreeing. You're like, oh, you met Hitler, but you said it in the shittiest way possible. Oh.
Yeah, welcome to Joss Whedon's dialogue. It's all like that shit.
Wait, what was it though? There's only one God, ma'am, and what was it?
I'm pretty sure he doesn't wear tights.
That's it. Oh, come on, you know that's cringe. You know it is.
I got red in my ledger.
I didn't hate that. I didn't hate the.
I've got red in my ledger.
I didn't hate that because it was immediately followed by a "fuck this conversation." He just dumps out. You're like, all right, okay. It was punchy enough, but Joss Whedon again is the king of cringe, right?
Yeah, he's got it's made for TV. That's his dialogue. Yeah. He's good at it.
Also, Loki is now the first canonical bisexual character in the MCU, which apparently
he was also bisexual in the mythology that's like thousands of years old. So
he also turned himself into a horse, got fucked by a horse, and then gave birth to a baby horse in the mythology. Let's hope that doesn't make its way onto the show. Yeah.
They call that pulling an Amy Schumer.
But also like I would say, I know the Rule 34 episode's over, but I would say that this, it could give us a window into the social climate of Asgard, right? Maybe Thor's also bisexual. You know what I mean?
God, I can only hope.
He could be pushing the Hulk's green old stinker in, right?
that chiseled sculpture of a man. My wife.
I know him from fucking, right?
Oh, did you guys like? It was a little cheesy, but I still laughed because Tom Hiddleston's able to deliver it well. His ode to his nod to his brother, where he's like, "I like this," and he breaks the fucking glass on the bar. He's like, "Another," and I'm like, "Oh, see what you did there."
Yeah.
All right, boys. I think we're wrapped. So we're gonna watch Gaia, and I think Derek and I are both gonna watch Halloween 2018.
I'll watch it again, man. I watched it like 3 days ago, and it's so fucking good.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, again, like, I'm not going to say that every line of dialogue is perfect. I'm not going to say that there aren't issues here and there with the narrative, but if you like the original Halloweens, the original John Carpenter Halloweens, this one is perfect in every way. It's a perfect, like, not a reimagining, but a reimagining to a certain extent. I believe this one starts off where the first one ended, like the original Halloween, like 1987 movie ends.
Yeah.
And it rewrites the entire history. Like, Michael Myers he was captured that night, and he's been in a facility ever since. And we see what happens when the dog gets let off its leash again, right? 40 years later. I would also like to say that Halloween H2O, although it is not a great movie, is fun as fuck, and I'll still watch that movie to this day and enjoy the fuck out of it.
I've never watched that. I'll never do it.
Dude,
I did back in the day. I don't remember anything about it.
It's got Josh Hartnett in it, man. And if there's one thing we know about Josh Hartnett, it's that he's a honey, right?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that guy? Why can't he be the new Liam Neeson? I'd watch Josh Hartnett punch a dog in the face, right?
Jesus. Gladly.
I'm thinking of The Gray, where like Liam Neeson just duct tapes airplane booze bottles with his fist and then gets eaten alive by wolves. So that one had a happy ending, right?
Yeah, surprise. Yeah. The thing you thought was going to happen when he crashed happened anyway.
Yeah. It only took 2.5 hours, right? Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. You said sit there and wait for it.
Yeah. It only took 2.5 hours for a 55-year-old man to, die.
Succumb
to exposure, right?
Little housekeeping item before we wrap up. Zack Snyder's Justice League coming to 4K Blu-ray in September if anybody is interested. I don't have a fucking 4K TV. I lied. I have a Blu-ray player because I have a PS4.
It doesn't play. It doesn't play the fancy new ones though. I discovered that the
fucking
hard
don't
way.
have either.
You guys still waiting to watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy, aren't you?
Yeah, we just own that, but we just don't have the thing to play that. It's kind of a nightmare, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've seen the screenshots and they look beautiful.
Now, are this is like the extended director's cut in 4K?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, with all the commentaries and whatnot.
So that's like a 14-hour viewing experience, right?
Literally, yeah.
Because I know Return of the King is like 5 hours long, isn't it? Like Return of the King, like five and a half.
I think Two Towers and Return of the King are about 4.5 each. So you're talking 9, and then I think Fellowship is 3.5. So like 12.5 hours.
Okay.
AKA, you can get it done in a day if you don't pee. Or just piss yourself. Mm-hmm. It's generally the route that I take.
Man, it's gotta get like an OG bedpan, a chamber pot like they had back in like the 1800s.
Or just not care about your furniture.
Yeah. If you think about it, like peeing in an empty water jug is the new chamber pot, right?
It's true. Yeah.
So
right. You're just being a traditionalist at that point.
Yeah. All those manic depressives who don't leave the room, even use the bathroom. You're just one of them retro hipsters, right? You're just bringing it back.
Yeah. Real Victorian era style you got there.
What are those things they used to call bed warmers where they put like hot coals in a giant metal tin and just put it by your feet? What a fucking terrible idea that was, right? How many like countesses and baronesses?
Scott, I've never tried it.
I mean, neither have I. Now we have electric blankets, but imagine how many baronesses had like third-degree burns on their feet, and how many poor like omnipotent servant girls got beat or punched or like had the chamber pot thrown in their face because m'lady or madam had her toes burnt, right? Mademoiselle. Her fucking toes.
Mademoiselle.
You know what's crazy? I looked it up, and like toilet paper really wasn't a thing until like 600 years ago. So people were just shitting and just walking around with shitty butts for like all of time before.
No, they had to like rinse their butts with water, right? They had to have like some kind of like bidet.
But it's funny to just imagine a bunch of like pharaohs and kings with poopy butts.
Or like a Sweeney Todd whore who like just smells like straight shit all the time.
And you go down there, you're like, oh god.
Yo, imagine being someone who's like such a fucking piece of shit that like you're paying for a prostitute in the 1600s, but you're also going down on her. Ugh. Ugh.
No, I don't want to.
It's a real Schumer down there, huh?
How do they know about this? This is the 1600s. I don't understand. No, you'll get it.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
I gotta go pick up Taco Bell dinner, so why don't we say our goodbyes to the people? And just a reminder, we have to think of a title. So probably something Amy Schumer related.
Yeah.
Don't Coomer in the Schumer? Or no, that's too. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why we put up this. We've done everything else under the sun. I don't know why we put this mandate on ourselves to not have Coom in the title, but so far,
I would suggest the title "Don't Coom in the Shoom."
I'm fine with "Don't Coom in the Shoom." I mean, it's not like it says "cum." It's it's there. Don't Coom in the Shoom.
SSCHOOM. Okay. Don't Coom in the Shoom. Very good, boys.
There's a podcast out there called Cum Town. CUMTOWN.
Are you serious?
And they're very popular. Yeah. So "Don't Coom in the Shoom" as an episode title is not. What the hell was that?
That's actually the second episode we've had Coom in the title.
We had the Coom Blooms. Yeah.
We had the Coom Blooms.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was it Mr. Jip's Haggard Hands.
Mr. Jip's Haggard Hands.
God, I still can't remember. I can't believe that we just literally Googled Mr. Jip out of that entire list of names, and that he was just a giant cummy mummy. Yeah. I can't fucking believe it. Just a bukkake behemoth. One of the greats.
It was fate that day.
Yeah.
Every time I get to upload a new thumbnail, I just get to see the library of all the old ones, and every single time I start laughing because we've had some real ridiculous ones. But enough collectively blowing ourselves. Derek, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter and maybe Twitch soon. I've actually kind of missed streaming a little bit. I think I might do some Castlevania. I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
I kind of want to watch you do that.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun. I've been playing Symphony of the Night, but I want to get some of the others. But anyway, we'll see.
Yeah.
So for now, on Twitch, on Twitter, but possibly Twitch in the future, at Dr. Gloom MD, which is DRGLOOMMD.
Can we get to commit to a date for one stream, just one singular stream? Come on, you can do it.
I literally can't.
Don't put him on the spot.
Yeah.
He's a brand new daddy. Can't commit to dates like that.
It's true.
Scott, I almost called you Swear. Ugh, weird. Where can everybody find you at?
Calling you TCN last night in like on the stream while we were playing, like gave me like a weird visceral. I was like, oh, I had to call him MFD. I couldn't do TCN. It's just too weird to not call you by your Christian nickname.
Your Christian.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Swearwolf. That's SWEARWOLFE. I'll be streaming tomorrow night, Monday. By the time if you listen to this right now, it's Monday. I'm live all day. It's my birthday.
Shit.
I'm gonna get a Carvel ice cream cake. I'm gonna get blackout drunk on tequila.
Nice.
And I'm gonna put my dick in that cake and tell you guys how it feels live on stream. Yeah.
Just under the table, just like you show the cake and you drop in your underwear.
I'm gonna see if I can get the people at Walmart to, you know how they do those pictures on a cake for you. I'm trying to see if I can get a Schumer cake. I'm gonna see if I can do it. This is Amy Schumer's face on it.
Hi, could you shoom this cake? Is there any chance you could shoom it?
Yeah,
I'll pay extra if you shoom it.
Yeah.
Just get like the most grotesque picture. I'm sorry, we're like just bashing her for her looks. I feel kind of shitty about it now.
No,
she's also a piece of shit, and she steals jokes and material from other people who. Like,
I was bashing her for her disgusting
so.
vagina, which is like 90% of her material. Like she always talks about how awful her pussy is. So like. We're kind of like right there with her, right? We're kind of supporting her art
with her a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. This is moral support. Chris, can I ask you?
Yeah, you're welcome, Amy.
Yeah. Can I ask you, how did you feel about Dead by Daylight last night on a scale of meh to yuck? On a scale of Schumer to Amy Jo Johnson, how'd you feel about Dead by Daylight? Did you say it was Christina Ricci? Maybe
I only had fun when we were winning, which is pretty obvious. But I still am. I said it before I left last night. I still am not sold 100% on that game, and here's why. Because as of right now, and I also have to go back and clip it because I think Rev was talking about how like deep the gameplay could get, and I think I did the zoom in cam on my stream and was like. Because
there's a lot of nuances to it. There really is.
Every activity in that game is holding the fucking button on your mouse, which is fine if you want to drill every game down to its basics. Every game is things on a keyboard and holding down mouse buttons. But it felt like I was playing a mobile game a lot. If I had to be totally honest, and that sounds harsher than I mean it because I did have fun. It was not fun early on to get like an OP killer because the matches are actually zero fun, and I wasn't kidding. We lost like the first 2 or 3, and I was like, if we lose the next one, but we probably uninstall.
We lost them matches though because somebody kept fucking up their Jennies, huh? Jedi.
Oh, I don't want to hear that. Was not it was not 100% my fault. Anyway,
hey, so smart, Jedi. Oh, I'm sorry. Before you sign off, can you do me a favor and just check your email, check your Steam real quick?
You gifted me Pacify.
Yeah, can you read that out loud for me, like I requested in the notes?
Oh no, I didn't even read what it said. I just said okay.
Oh man,
You're gonna have to wait. Let me see if I can.
You definitely can.
Hang on. I want to. I'll pull up my email that says, "Dear MFD, please read this out loud." Quote. I am the lord of soft, wet poops. Service my scroty. Service my scroty. And give me that throaty. I should have read that after I signed off. Anyway, Twitch and Twitter. TCN plays. That's all I got, boys. Have a good week.
Oh, shit.
Bye.
Have a good week, guys.
Don't stop recording.
Wait! Who would you kill for your birthday?
Shit, you're right.
I mean, the obvious answer is Amy Schumer, right?
Yeah.
I don't want her dead, though. I just want her, like, shamed publicly, and I want all of her money to be transferred to my bank account for, like, discovering what she did that was terrible.
Right. Fair. Good play.
Fair. All right, boys. See you next week.